breaking news on WFLA Now. Here's Gabby Petito.
A developing story here in Northport. You can see the crowd here that has gathered outside of the home of Brian Laundrie, the fiancé and person of interest in the Gabby Petito disappearance. A story that, of course, has captured the attention of so many across the country, including folks here in Northport who have gathered outside of the home demanding answers. Hey there, folks. JB Buno here with you live across all of our various platforms, WFLA.com, the WFLA app, Facebook Live, Twitter, and, of course, YouTube here as well. Following here the developments in Northport, Florida, you can see here a large crowd has gathered here quite literally on the front lawn of Brian Laundrie's home. Now, News Nation correspondent Brian Entin reported on Twitter a short time ago, and he had live video in the aftermath of officers. Now, as we understand it, officers of the law entering Brian Laundrie's home. Now, this could be for one of several potential reasons here. Now, we don't know if this is connected to Gabby Petito's disappearance, and I say that only because right now, there is the chance, of course, with the crowd that is gathered here, law enforcement officers could have gone into the home as far as this being a safety concern for the Laundrie family here. Clearly, there's a lot of upset people here outside of the home, people here in Northport, Florida, who have wanted Brian Laundrie to come forward here. So we don't know if this is for the Laundrie family's safety or if this is pertaining specifically to new developments in the case of Gabby Petito, the 22-year-old Florida woman missing now for several weeks, last seen in Wyoming in the area of Grand Teton National Park, a cross-country road trip with her and her fiancé. That was when she was last seen on that cross-country road trip. Of course, the big mystery, the source of this mystery, is Brian Laundrie returning back home to Northport, Florida, without his fiancé, but with her van, the van that they use for the cross-country road trip. So you can see here, a crowd has gathered. Interestingly enough, the timing of this crowd gathering here and the timing of law enforcement officers entering this home is curious in this way. Not too far away from this location, as we understand it, a prayer vigil is about to get underway. A prayer vigil. Other community members have gathered in Northport, Florida to come together to share hope, to hopefully spread messages in the hope that Gabby is found alive, whether that's in Wyoming, whether that's in Utah, or somewhere between there and Florida, just anywhere that Gabby is returned home safely. So a lot happening here tonight. We hope to have a feed of the prayer vigil at some point here, monitoring a lot of different feeds here from WFLA in Tampa. But this here on the right side of your screen is a live picture outside of Brian Laundrie's home here, where, again, News Nation correspondent Brian Entin on Twitter reported a short time ago that law enforcement officers were seen entering this home. The reasons for entering are unclear at this time. What emerges out of this house here is going to be telling here whether or not that's law enforcement officers on their own, whether it's law enforcement officers with somebody else, perhaps Brian Laundrie. We really don't know. There's a lot that we don't know with this latest development here. But, of course, we're going to stay here with you live as long as we can and hope to bring you some shots of the prayer vigil here momentarily. Again, a prayer vigil that was scheduled for 7 o'clock Eastern here. So we're now 4 minutes past the hour here. As soon as we have a feed to bring you from elsewhere in Northport showing that prayer vigil that has been organized, we'll, of course, pass that along to you. Back here with updates.
This story has gone national. It's getting attention all over the place from people who are curious and concerned for Gabby's safety. I'm going to flip you around here so you can get a better look at the rest of this situation. Like I said, you guys
Again, JB Buno here with you live, folks, on WFLA Now, one of our many live streams that we've had here over the course of the day on the Gabby Petito disappearance. We know that we have a large audience joining us here. Good evening to you, wherever you're watching from, whether it's here in the Tampa Bay area where we are, or whether you're joining us from anywhere really across the country, around the world. This is a story that that people are demanding answers. And the person inside of this home is believed to have more information than anyone. That, of course, being Brian Laundrie, the person who was on this cross-country road trip, the fiancé of Gabby Petito. The two of them on a cross-country road trip from Long Island began July 2nd, continued into the month of August until her disappearance in late August, culminating with where we are right now. Now, let's kind of reset where we are here. We're going to monitor this feed here very, very closely. If something happens here, we'll go back full screen. We'll listen in at full volume here. As you can see, the crowd here is, they're not diverting their attention anywhere. Their eyes are locked on the front of this home. A few folks here have megaphones that are demanding that Brian come out, or demanding that Brian speak, demanding that Brian give some kind of information to the Petito family that could help. But to backtrack with where we are here in this investigation and where Gabby Petito is, we don't know where Gabby Petito is. And the update that we received earlier today is that her phone is not with police. The Gabby Petito cell phone, of course, the one that she was using to post all of those updates on social media over the course of that cross-country road trip, that phone and the whereabouts of that phone are unknown at this time. We don't know where the phone is. Police don't know where the phone is. Perhaps her fiancé knows where the phone is. And perhaps Brian Laundrie, the fiancé, knows where Gabby is and whether or not Gabby is alive or dead. But we're hoping to find out more here in the hours ahead. As you can see here, community members in Northport who have gathered with their signs. And, we've been doing so many live streams now with this story, and I know that there are so many of you. I have had commenters use hashtag HJB and comment at me from places as far as California and Texas, saying that they wanted to get in their car. This story has affected them so much that they wanted to get into their car and drive to be here for an event like this. Now, we reported earlier, we had received word that there were community members in Northport that were upset to the point that they wanted to organize a demonstration of some kind. That demonstration, flirted between the lines of a prayer vigil and also a demonstration outside of the Laundrie home. So we, of course, have had crews here monitoring both potential situations. And as we understand it, both are happening. A prayer vigil that is underway for Gabby Petito here in Northport, but also this demonstration that, of course, has captured the internet's attention, the demonstration that is gathered here quite literally on the front lawn of the Laundrie home. So we're going to monitor this shot. It'll be very curious to see how long law enforcement officers are in there. But as a reminder, Brian Laundrie here has, Brian Enton, the News Nation correspondent, has confirmed that he was there when law enforcement officers went into the home. He saw that happen. We might have an update here. Stand by, folks. Getting an update. There is a law enforcement officer, Northport Police, an officer entering the home here. Breaking update on WFLA Now.
Breaking news on WFLA Now. Here's JB Buno.
A tweet in moment ago as you're looking here at an officer knocking on the front door here of the Brian Laundrie home. We know that there are officers inside this home, so here we have another officer knocking on the front door here. Northport Police announcing via Twitter here a short time ago, and I'll read this tweet here word for word, and you can find it on Northport Police's Twitter page. They say, quote unquote, Northport Police are currently speaking with the Laundrie family at their request. At this time, we are not speaking with Brian. More details when available. So, we were talking about the possible reasons for Northport Police being inside of the home. And this is something that they have, Northport Police investigators have wanted to speak to the Laundrie family here for some time. Interesting development here that the Laundrie family themselves, or according to Northport Police, were the ones who requested this meeting. So the Laundrie family contacting Northport Police to speak with them. And here we have Northport Police following up on that request. Now, this could very well possibly be connected to the crowd that is gathered here. This may not have anything to do, well, of course it has something to do with Gabby Petito's disappearance indirectly, but it might not have anything directly to do with Gabby Petito's disappearance. This could be a safety-related meeting that is occurring here based on what we have here at this time. I want to make this perfectly clear that this might not be directly related to Gabby Petito's disappearance and her current whereabouts. This could be in regards to the crowd that has gathered here on the front lawn and outside of the Brian Laundrie home. Let's go here full screen here, folks, and let's kind of listen in here for a moment. We're going to put up the audio full volume and listen in.
Cooperate with police! You guys are acting like a bunch of cowards!
Cooperate with police! Gabby,
Hey, Sean, I'm on
Gabby
IFB.
has suffered enough. They want answers.
Oh,
Bring Gabby
Pat
home.
Brambles,
IFB, TV1.
TV1.
What did you do with her?
And you're hearing some of the chatter between our news crews here for a live report on WFLA News Channel 8, your NBC station here in Tampa, Florida. But we'll continue to listen in here. That's some chatter, some news chatter from our crews.
Where is Gabby? 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 Where is Gabby?
All right, we just went to
Where
commercial break.
is Gabby? Where is
Yeah, I'm in the B
Gabby?
block, top of the B block.
Laundrie family, where's Gabby?
Hey, mic check.
Officer, thank you for your service, but please, what do you know?
Yes, I got you. Mic check 1, 2. Mic check.
All right, so we have officers exiting the home here. Cameras following them. We're going to see if we can do the same.
Did you talk to Brian?
2 minutes out. And what are you guys saying about the audio? 2 minutes out.
It's hot.
Where is Gabby?
There's still more time,
We
yeah.
want answers. Laundrie
one other in
family,
uniform and several
cooperate
other
with
not in
authorities.
uniform.
Where
My truck
is
just come
Gabby?
back a little bit.
Where is Gabby? Where is Gabby? Where
And that sound mic is open on channel 2.
No, it's not.
Folks, this is 8 on your sides. Nico Clemens, a reporter for WFLA News Channel 8, preparing for a live report on our broadcast product, of course, on WFLA News Channel 8. Let's see if we can switch to an alternative feed here. We do have additional camera feeds to go to. Here's another one from the driveway of the Laundrie homes here. This is another camera that we're able to access here at WFLA. We'll see if we can listen in to this shot. Let's see if what we have here audio-wise on camera shot number 2.
is Gabby?
Come on!
Arrest Brian! Arrest Brian! Arrest Brian! Bring Gabby home! Where is Gabby? Laundrie! Where's Gabby? Where's Gabby? Where's Gabby?
Back up. Everyone off the property. Private property. Back up. Everybody off the property. Everybody off.
That should be the easement right there. We'll be all right.
Everybody. I didn't even go in there, so I wouldn't know.
What's your radio saying?
Where's Gabby?
22-year-old girl, literally my age. Make sure you
Off
find out
the
who's
property.
registered.
Off the property.
Quite frankly, folks, I'm surprised this wasn't done sooner. I was surprised that they allowed so many people on the front lawn of the Laundrie home here. Standing by for a live report is 8 on your sides. Nico Clemens here, but you can clearly see on the right side of your screen an officer telling everyone to get off of the front lawn here. What happens is everyone usually competes for the best position to get a camera shot. Let's go to Nico.
Several officers walked inside the home not too long ago. We've seen a couple of come in and out over the last few moments. One just went inside with a brown paper bag. Northport Police, they did tweet about 7 minutes ago. They're currently speaking with the Laundrie family at their request. However, they're not speaking with Brian at this time. So again, at the family's request, they wanted to speak with police, but we're not sure if Brian's in the home. But we know they're not speaking with Brian right now. We're speaking with the parents at the time. But again, this happened maybe less than 30 minutes ago, almost 30 minutes ago. Officers go inside the Laundrie home here in Northport. Of course, this is a home that we have watched over the last several days to see if anyone is inside, if anybody would come in and out. Now we know there are people inside the home. We know the parents are inside the home because police did tweet they are here to speak with the... And you can hear people outside right now, the Northport community yelling to police, screaming, chanting, "Where is Gabby?" Over the last couple of days, they have demanded Brian Laundrie, his parents, come outside, reveal any information they know about Gabby. We know she was reported missing. Tomorrow makes a week when she was reported missing by her mother, who is in New York. We know they were on a cross-country road trip. Brian came back to Northport September 1st. Again, his mom, or Gabby's mother, made the missing persons report on the 11th. But again, police are inside the home right now, so we're not sure what's going on, but we do know they are speaking with the family at their request. They're not speaking with Brian right now. That's according to Northport Police, a tweet they just tweeted out about 10 minutes ago. But we are staying on top of this story. Of course, we have been here the last several of days. We see the community members coming out over the last several days. There's a prayer vigil happening right now as well, but we're going to stay on top of the story. We'll bring you the latest once we get it, of course. Live in Northport, I'm Nico Clemens, 8 on your side.
Nico bringing us here the very latest on WFLA News Channel 8 as we continue to monitor a lot of different camera shots here, really hoping that we get a shot here of the prayer vigil because there's two events going on simultaneously right now, folks. As far as Northport, Florida is concerned, we heard about a prayer vigil that was being organized. We also heard about a demonstration outside of the Brian Laundrie home. Of course, we told you quite a bit about the prayer vigil, but due to, of course, safety concerns, we weren't talking too much about the demonstration that was occurring here, but clearly a demonstration has captured the attention of Northport police officers here. Now, we don't know the reason as to why Northport police entered the home. Again, JB Buno, I know we're constantly engaging a new digital audience here. JB Buno here with you live, folks, on WFLA Now. We'll continue to monitor all the feeds here that we can to provide you with the very latest and live pictures here from outside, quite literally right outside Brian Laundrie's home. But we did get the tweet in a short time ago, and again, I'm going to read this tweet word for word here. It came in 9 minutes ago from Northport Police. It reads as follows: Northport Police are currently speaking with the Laundrie family at their request. At this time, we are not speaking with Brian. More details when available. So, officers, multiple officers, investigators likely inside there at this time. But this, again, we don't know if this is directly, it could be indirectly connected to Gabby Petito's disappearance. It could, and I say that only because this could all be for the safety concern that has emerged here with all of these people clearly emotionally charged outside of the home here. And this could be done for safety concerns for the Laundrie family here. So they are not speaking with Brian, but the Laundrie family did make the request. Back here in a few moments here with an update on WFLA Now.
We're just trying to be careful because obviously, like, we're waiting, like, they just went back in with, like, some stuff, and everyone's obviously waiting for a shot.
What's going on over there?
We're all here to support you, Gabby.
Yes, Gabby.
We're all here for you, girl. Sweating my ass off for you.
And do you want me to just kind of talk behind the scenes type thing? Or do you want me in front on camera? Okay, sure, I can do that. Yes, I can. Yes. Do you want to just talk to me on there? I'm going to hang this up. Okay, bye.
How much time do I have?
Hey, JB, how much time till?
I mean, I got 3 bars.
And how many? And if you, okay, yeah. How much time do you have on that battery? You said you have to change a battery.
No, I mean,
He's okay for now, but he'll have to switch. So not too long for.
are we coming to you soon?
They're doing a quick WFLA now, just a live picture. I'm just going to talk in here. You don't have to. You can stay in the house. Yeah. Okay, JB, I'm good. Okay. Okay.
I'm just going to sort of kind of follow what you say.
Sure. Sure. 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah. Are you going between both feeds, JB? Okay, because it looks like Avis is probably staying on the house. Pat says he can kind of pan around. Okay. You're just going to ask me some questions. Did you guys already talk about the tweet? Okay. Okay. Hey, Pat. 10.
He is the fiancé of Gabby Petito. She's been missing for over 2 weeks now, and police just entered his home a few minutes ago, and we've been waiting out here ever since, trying to get.
Hey there, folks. JB Buno here with you live again on WFLA Now. We're now going to bring in 8 on your sides, Allison Henning, our Sarasota County reporter who has been on this story from day one. And Allison, I know that you have your microphone here, and we'll go split screen here so we can show everybody the 2 camera feeds that we have access to. We're looking here at the front side of the house. We're also looking here at the massive pool of reporters and photographers and community members that have gathered here on the left side of your screen. But Allison, you've been reporting on this story nonstop since, of course, Gabby was reported missing, and here we are now, officers entering the home of Brian Laundrie.
JB, yeah, that's right. This is kind of the moment that I think a lot of people in this community have been waiting for, the moment that, police have been waiting for. It's our understanding, as you already know, that Northport Police, they're currently speaking with the Laundrie family, and this is at the family's request. Police are saying that they are not speaking with Brian at this time. It's unclear if Brian is inside this home, but we do know that the Laundrie family did call police here to finally sit down and talk with them. At this point in time, we believe there are about 4 officers inside the home that we've seen go in. And obviously, if we pan around here, you can see there's a huge crowd of people from the community, of course, all the media from across the country here. But, it's unclear exactly what, they are doing inside the home, what kind of conversations they are having. But obviously, the family of Gabby Petito, the community here in Northport, the officers here in Northport have been calling on this family to speak up, to help them find Gabby, because there's a lot of questions in this case, of course, that they think Brian does have the answers to. So as soon as Northport PD comes out of this home, we're going to try and see if they can give us an update in some way, shape, or form, on what kind of conversations are happening behind those closed doors.
Allison Henning outside of the home here for us, outside of the Laundrie home here on a microphone, talking to us here on WFLA Now and all of our sister stations as well here. Allison, we don't know the reason, that police entered the home here, but we do know that it was at the request of the family. The Laundrie, according to Northport Police on Twitter, the Laundrie family asked to speak with Northport Police. So, Allison, we don't know at this time if this is connected to this being a safety concern for the Laundrie family, but of course that remains a possibility here.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. Of course, there's been a lot going on outside the home for a few days now. So, yeah, that's not exactly clear at this point. I do know police came out here last night. Of course, this has been a lot. This is a small street. There have been a lot of cars here, a lot of media here, a lot of other people just kind of coming through. Last night, there were people protesting out here, holding signs, calling on Brian to speak out, to finally come forward and tell police, give them the answers to those questions that they've been asking since she was reported missing over the weekend. You might remember it was September 11th. Northport police came to this home at night after Gabby's mother reported her missing out of Long Island, New York. She was on that cross-country road trip. Northport PD came here. They found that van that the couple had been traveling in this driveway here. And as soon as they went to the door to try and speak with Brian, they were greeted by his parents and a phone number a name and phone number, I should say, to their family attorney. And since then, it's pretty much been radio silence. We've gotten a few different statements from the attorney, but essentially it's that Brian is following the advice of counsel and staying silent. So again, it's unclear if Brian is inside this home. We do know he has family members here throughout the Sarasota, Manatee County area. But this has been kind of the main focus here, waiting for officers perhaps to go inside this home, for someone to come out. So we're all kind of just waiting to see what happens here right now.
Allison, we were talking earlier about how we had gotten word here at WFLA of 2 potential events occurring this evening, one being a demonstration in the vicinity of Brian Laundrie's home here in Northport, the other being a prayer vigil, community organizers wanting to do something for people that were hopeful that, of course, that Gabby Petito was going to be found alive, and to share a message of hope. Do we have any update on the 7 o'clock prayer vigil that was scheduled for this evening?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, that prayer vigil happening less than actually a mile from where we're standing right now. The Northport Police Department as well as City Hall, it's less than a mile from the Laundrie family's home. Of course, as soon as we got word that Northport Police were entering the home, I think a lot of people, probably including people from that vigil, came right over here to see what's going on. There was plans for a 5 o'clock protest here outside the home. The organizers of that protest told me earlier today that police reached out to them asking them to not have the protest here. Obviously, the street's already blocked off. There are no sidewalks here, so that's why they went ahead and decided to move and cancel the protest and turn it into that prayer vigil happening at 7 o'clock tonight. But as far as I'm aware right now, that is still happening. And again, less than a mile from where we are right now, where police are in the house of Brian Laundrie at his parents' request. Again, police not speaking with Brian at this point in time.
Allison Henning reporting for us, everybody outside of the Brian Laundrie household here. Let's what we do here, folks. This could be, we don't know how long this is going to be. We do know that multiple officers are inside of the home. We don't know if that's for safety concerns from the Laundrie family or if it's directly connected to the Gabby Petito investigation.
JB, the doors are opening right now. We've got some officers coming out.
We'll listen in.
I should mention that this is a family vehicle that we see the officers going into right now. This car has been parked in the driveway for the past 2 days. You can see they are opening the trunk of this vehicle right now. One of the investigators up front, one of the investigators in the trunk looking through this vehicle. I should also mention that maybe 10 minutes ago, one of the officers did go into the home with a couple of brown paper bags, which, being at different scenes in the past, oftentimes to carry evidence. So,
well, this is a significant development here, Allison. If this is in fact a family, can you confirm that this is a Laundrie family vehicle that they're currently examining?
Well, JB, I've been out here for the past several days, and this vehicle has been in the driveway. It has not moved in the past couple of days. Between this silver vehicle here and the maroon pickup truck, those are the 2 vehicles that I have seen in the driveway here for the past couple of days. This one in particular has not moved for the past 2 days.
So if this is in fact an examination here of a family vehicle, it appears to be a silver Ford Mustang convertible here. This could, whether or not this is being done with the family's permission or whether this is being done with the execution of a search warrant, although I feel like we would have received some news on a search warrant, so this might have been with the approval of the Brian Laundrie family here, although we don't know at this time. As we take a closer look here at the officer who is keeping a very close eye on the public, making sure that this does not get out of hand. As we have seen, if you were just joining us on stream, this was originally a large crowd of reporters, photographers, and community members that were on the front lawn of the home, on the home property itself, before they were pushed back by this officer and told to move into the street, even though you can clearly see some people still directly on the property there of the Laundrie family here. So, and the reason, Allison, that I mentioned that and wasn't sure if this was, again, there could be family members in the house, friends that are in the house, a legal aid could be in the house here as well, and we're not entirely sure whose vehicle that is. But Allison, you were just saying that vehicle, that silver Ford Mustang convertible there, has been there for a considerable amount of time, and you've been outside of this house, stationed here outside of this house for many, many days now.
Yeah, that's right. So I first came out here on Tuesday morning, and that morning there were no vehicles in the driveway. The red pickup truck actually was the first one to pull up. Two people we believe to be mom and dad went into the house. That silver Mustang was not here at that time, but the next morning when we arrived here, that Mustang was here and has not left since that point in time. So Wednesday morning, the maroon vehicle has been the only one kind of coming and going, and from what we've seen, that has been a man and woman, possibly mom and dad in this case.
Allison, as far as individuals that you have seen come and go from this home, you and I spoke recently on WFLA Now about how you haven't yourself laid eyes on Brian Laundrie here at this particular property. Who have you seen going in and out of the house other than officers here in the last several minutes? Over the last several days, who have you seen? What kind of activity have you seen here at the house?
Like I mentioned, it's really only been a man and a woman coming from that maroon pickup truck. That's been the only two people I have personally seen coming in and out of the home. I'm actually standing next to Nico right now. Nico, you were here kind of throughout the night. JB's asking, have we seen any other people come in and out of the home? I mentioned to him that maroon vehicle. We've seen a man and woman come in and out. Have you seen anything at the nighttime when you've been here?
Have not seen anybody come in and out, and actually, for the last several nights, as Allison, I'm sure, has talked about, people have camped out or brought out signs, carts, just waited to see if anyone would come out of the house. We now know today the parents are inside because the parents wanted to speak with police at their request. So we have not seen anyone the last several nights, but again, we know now they're inside the house.
Allison Henning, Nico Clemens outside of the home here. Let's kind of just reset here for you folks. JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. We have several feeds here, so if for any reason a feed goes down, we have one camera here, another camera here. We can go split screen here as well. We want to let you know that the moment that there's any activity here, we've got you covered here as far as the developments here in police entering Brian Laundrie's home. And again, for those of you who have just joined us, again, I will read the Northport Police tweet that came out 24 minutes ago, and it reads as follows. Northport Police are currently speaking with the Laundrie family at their request. At this time, we are not speaking with Brian. More details when available. And again, as we do here on WFLA Now, and what we'll try to do here, as we have, of course, Allison Henning, Nico Clemens here outside of the home, as well as a whole lot of people here that have gathered here this Friday evening, September 17, 2021. What we do here on WFLA Now is we bring you into the conversation here out of the Facebook Live comment section. You can use the hashtag, well, it's just me here. So the only hashtag that we have on this particular stream is hashtag HeyJB. I will begin looking for some of the hashtag HeyJB comments that are coming into the Facebook Live comment section here. Perhaps you have some questions or maybe even an observation here. We want to get you involved here in the conversation, because as we've been doing here over the last 5 days, our WFLA Now audience has been making some very astute points here based on Gabby Petito's case and based on her disappearance. So the very first one here comes from Lauren Agnelli, hashtag HeyJB. And again, we can animate your comment on screen, but only if they use the hashtags here. So if you don't use a hashtag, we'll let your comment go idly by. Lauren here, hashtag HeyJB. I hope they come out with some information. I think we all do. I think that we are all hopeful that there are that we know more tonight than we did last night or the night before. And as we go back here to it full screen here, I want to focus here on Lauren's comment for a second here, Allison. I hope they come out with some information. As far as the coming out portion of this comment, we have no idea how long officers are going to be inside the home.
Yeah, JB, it could be some time. I mean, it hasn't been very long that they have been inside, but we don't know exactly what they're doing, what kind of conversations are happening, how in-depth these conversations are. Obviously, like we just saw them go into this vehicle here, possibly looking for evidence. The Laundrie family may have given them the keys to let them go inside, or it may have been a warrant of some shape or form. As far as we were aware, there were no search warrants that had been issued. Up until this point, Northport Police telling us that this is still just a missing persons case. There is no evidence that's a crime in this case at this point in time. That's the last word that we've received from Northport PD. So, yeah, it's unclear exactly how long this could take. But I know a lot of the people who are out here, I do not think they will be leaving until someone comes out of that home. In terms of officers speaking, I would imagine that that would come from the Northport Police Department spokesperson, Josh Taylor, or the police chief, Todd Garrison. And of course, that's after, you know, they come out of this home that we might be getting some more information on exactly what went down inside.
And Allison, if you or Nico needs to depart here for a moment to gather information or speak with anybody there at the scene, you just let me know, and I'll kind of take over here as far as answering questions. But what we're going to start to do now, we do have some car movement here. Allison, on your particular camera shot is you can see clearly a lot of people have gathered here with their cell phones and are live streaming this event.
Yes, a lot of people I can see are on Facebook Live right now, and the car movement you're seeing, I think, is just because there are so many people on the road and so many cars parked along the side of the road, so it's very difficult for people to navigate this small Northport neighborhood street right now. You can see this police officer here, it looks like, is kind of guiding this car through because it looks like there's a bit of a traffic jam. That's how many people are out here tonight trying to see what's going on inside this home.
Clearly, quite the scene here outside of the Laundrie home here. I wanna make this I'm very grateful to Angela here in our Facebook Live comment section for asking this next question here, and I'm gonna bring it up here on screen. It's got #AJB. Angela Praman, #AJB. Am I wrong, or did I hear you say yesterday that Brian was in Tampa as of yesterday? And I have received multiple comments like this one. What I said yesterday is that the Northport police chief they made it very clear multiple times in the press conference they know exactly where Brian is. And I said that it's believed that he is believed to be in the Tampa Bay area. And for folks that are joining us outside of Tampa Bay, or really outside of the state of Florida, the Tampa Bay area, it's almost like the tri-state area in New York with New York, Connecticut, New Jersey. It's a region of our state. The Tampa Bay area, of course, comprised of counties like Hillsborough County, where Tampa is, Pinellas County, where St. Petersburg, Florida is located, Sarasota County, where, of course, we have Northport, Florida. So this is a region here. So what I said yesterday was they were very confident that they know exactly where Brian is and that he is believed to be in the Tampa Bay area. He's really believed to be somewhere in the Sarasota County, Charlotte County. But let me, Allison, I want to bring you in here because I want to make this clear for our viewers. Do we know that Brian is in this house?
We do not know that. So that question was asked very clearly yesterday to Chief Todd Garrison. The question was, do you know where Brian Laundrie is? He said, yes, simply yes. The question was, is he inside his parents' home? Chief Garrison responded saying, I will say I know where he is. So the chief not wanting to disclose the exact location. I think obviously a lot of people here assuming that he is inside this home, but we really don't know. Like I mentioned, he does have other family members who live in as close as Manatee County. Obviously we're here in southern Sarasota County right now. But yeah, we don't know the answer to that question at this point in time. And obviously we know that the police here again are speaking with Brian's parents, not with him inside this home. So not sure at this point.
And that's a big question. And we know that the members of the Laundrie family are inside of this home, as you're clearly seeing the sun setting here behind the houses here in this row of houses in Northport, Florida. A beautiful sunset it appears that we're having on a very chaotic day here in Northport, as we clearly again see the officer here standing outside to make sure that nobody does anything out of control here. We did have a lot of folks on the front lawn as of about 35 minutes ago. Let's again show you another camera feed here showing you right up the driveway there and the front door of this house. And there is that silver Mustang again. It appears, Allison, that the silver Mustang convertible there is no longer, or at least they examined it. They went through it. They went into the vehicle itself a short time ago, and we don't know exactly what led to that. But they were inside the trunk, inside the passenger area of the Ford Mustang convertible that you're seeing there, and we don't know what that was connected to. But that's an interesting development that we have here outside of the house. And just messaging some members of our crew here. Allison, just checking in. Do you have us still?
Hey, JB, I can hear you.
Again, just recapping for our audience members that just joined us here in the last several moments, the most interesting development that occurred here, other than, of course, officers entering here at the request of the Laundrie family, the development of them searching that silver Ford Mustang convertible there, and that's what occurred about 10 or so minutes ago. Let's get to some of the comments that are coming in here in the Facebook Live comment section here, everybody. Let's get to some more. Lorianne Hamill, #HeyJB. I hope she comes back safe and the family finds some relief. I think we're all hoping the same here. The Petito family has been doing everything. They have been traveling to Grand Teton National Park. We have video here, WFLA, of Gabby's, I believe, stepfather walking Grand Teton National Park, assisting in the search there and just being part of the effort there. We, of course, have had Joe Petito here on the ground, the father, of course, of Gabby Petito, being here as well. Speaking with police in Northport, Florida. We've had Nicole Schmidt, who of course is the mother, who has been additionally here speaking to members of the media, doing countless numbers of interviews. They are doing everything that they can. This is a family that has everything on the table. They've issued statements, they've done interviews, they've traveled the country. They're doing everything that they possibly can to get Gabby home safely, and here we are. Perhaps the biggest clues to finding Gabby's whereabouts and finding Gabby is inside of this house or a house here in this area, because we don't know if Brian is exactly in here. We do know that members of the Laundrie family are, of course, inside of this house. Again, we'll only feature comments with the correct hashtag. That way that we don't spotlight any comments here, especially on a stream of this magnitude with so many people watching. We're only going to animate comments with the hashtag. If you don't want your comment and your name on screen here, then just don't use the hashtag. We'll let your comment go idly by. Marianne Franjul, #HeyJB. Do we really think the family will speak without attorneys present? Okay, so this is a great question. Let's go back here. Split screen as we talk about Marianne's question here. The family members of Brian Laundrie are said to be in the home here in Northport. And again, they requested to speak with Northport Police. It could be for safety concerns. It could be to discuss where we are in the Gabby Petito case. But at this time, we don't know if a legal aid with the New York attorney who is representing the Laundrie family is here as well. You got to remember, law offices are very, very large, and a legal aid with the attorney could be inside of this house here as well, providing counsel. Or, of course, they could just have that attorney's office on speakerphone. That attorney being, of course, I have it here in front of me, Stephen Bertolino in East Islip, New York. So whether a member of Stephen Bertolino's team is physically here in person to be here and assist the family, or if they're on speed dial and on speakerphone to assist, it's very possible that legal counsel is very active here in what is going on right now inside of the Laundrie home. So again, back here to the comment from Marianne Franjul. Appreciate the comment, and we'll look for some more hashtag HeyJB comments in the meantime. I'm just going to check in. Allison Henning, do you have us there outside of Brian Laundrie's home?
I do, and we are actually going to have to hop off here in a second. My photographer is going to need to do a battery swap here, and Nico Clemens is going to be reporting live at 8 o'clock, so we're going to have to do a little swap out here to make sure that he's able to get on WTTA at 8.
WTTA Great 38 is where you'll find team coverage here, folks, coming up on, of course, WTTA, our sister station here at WFLA News Channel 8. Let's switch now to the other camera feed while they do a battery swap on the first camera feed. So we'll stay here with you live again, right down the driveway here. If someone emerges from this house, you'll see it here. And we don't know how long this is going to go on. We don't know if there's active conversation going on. It's entirely possible here, folks, and I want to make this perfectly clear. It's entirely possible that this is all related to the safety concern with the crowd that is gathered here. And the officers could be in the home, and because, of course, Brian Laundrie has invoked his constitutional right to not speak, and we had this comment come in here a short time ago. It's somewhere in the queue here, but we were talking about invoking your constitutional right to remain silent. It's very possible that the officers are just in the home and outside of the home here, clearly, just as a safety precaution, and there might not be any chatter going on between the officers that are inside of the house. But the interesting wrinkle here, the development that occurred about 15 minutes ago, was the search of the Ford Mustang convertible. If you're joining us on whatever social media platform you're joining on, you can kind of rewind here on the stream if you missed that moment. But we had, I believe, 2 investigators go into the home, and they, if I remember correctly, and I'd like our commenters here just to, because I'm one person with one pair of eyes, with 2 eyes. I thought I saw them holding the keys for that car, which of course makes sense. They were entering the car. That's not too out of the ordinary here as far as what we're talking about. But if they received the car keys from the Laundrie family and they went through that vehicle, the silver Ford Mustang convertible here, as we're switching feeds here again, that is a curious development here. And what were they going through that car for? And was that related to the Gabby Petito disappearance, or was that related to the safety concern that we have talked about here on stream? We really don't know. We don't know, but that was an interesting development that occurred here again about 15 minutes ago. It is clearly getting quite dark here. So dark that I thought that we went in black on our other camera feed. I'm going to hit this one here on the touchscreen, and it was just the lawn here. This camera feed here pointing at the lawn, you can see there in the top left-hand portion of the screen. That's the house there in the top left-hand portion of your screen, but that just speaks to how dark it is getting. I would imagine what happens here and I've been at scenes, maybe not with this much attention, with this many camera crews, but when you have a lot of different news crews here at one particular scene and the sun goes down, a lot of photographers will communicate and say, hey, all right, we need to go get into our vehicles and grab our lights and start shining lights. So that's probably the next phase of this, is news crews here on scene running into their vans after a very long day, and they work so hard, our news crews, to get lights, to shine some light here on the house, because the sun has officially set here in Northport, Florida. So that was the lawn. That is, and they're just like that. I think we're starting to see some lights getting set up. Every now and again, a squirrel finds a nut, right? All right, back to our comments here in the Facebook Live comment section. Let's get to Eileen Sue's hashtag HeyJB. Can't they make him talk? He was clearly the last person with Gabby. The answer is no. We've talked about this extensively here on WFLA Now over the last several days. You can't force someone to speak. And right now, Brian Laundrie, and there are people that are extremely frustrated about this, but it's the facts, folks. Brian Laundrie is a person of interest, hasn't been charged with any crime. And in fact, that brings us to the next question here, and this is one of the most popular questions we've been getting here on stream. Darcy Stone here, hashtag HeyJB. Can't the police legally question him since he had her van without her? Remember, the van was in Gabby's name. Brian drove the van from wherever, whether it was Wyoming or Utah, Grand Teton National Park in northwest Wyoming. He drove the van in Gabby's name without Gabby back here to Northport, Florida. So there have been people asking, can you charge him with a crime connected to the fact that he took the car that was in her name and drove it all the way back here to Florida? That question specifically was asked to the Northport Police Chief a couple of days ago, and the answer, we were expecting a long answer, but the answer is no. And there is a legal explanation for this, and as of right now, we just understand it that is not enough to charge Brian Laundrie with a crime. And maybe, and listen, this is one of those, when you're getting into crimes being charged potentially, every state's different, and every state has different laws when it comes to crimes of that type. And it's very possible that if it was in a different state, maybe in the state that you're joining us from, wherever you're watching from, maybe it's a crime in your state. But here in Florida, based on what we know legally here, that is not enough to charge Brian Laundrie, which of course has been a source of frustration for so many. Angela Gianna here. I'm glad that you brought this one up here, Angela, because this is something I referenced earlier on in this stream. Did they have a hashtag AJB? Did they have a warrant? Did the family volunteer to speak with them? Let's rewind here. We're going to go to the Northport Police Twitter feed. They said 43 minutes ago, Northport Police are currently speaking with the Laundrie family at their request. At this time, we are not speaking with Brian. More details when available. So, did the family, let's start with the second part of this question first from Angela. Did the family volunteer to speak with them? The family requested to speak. But Brian's not talking to investigators. Why, you see the big bold words here at the bottom of your screen. Breaking. Police enter Brian Laundrie's home. But that does not mean that they are speaking with Brian. So did the family volunteer to speak with them? They requested, yes, to speak with officers with Northport Police, but we don't know why. And we wonder if it's connected to the crowd that gathered here, a crowd that had megaphones, a crowd that was chanting, a crowd that was growing larger. We didn't know if this was going to be a crowd of 5 people, 15 people, 500 people. We had no idea when we sort of began hearing word of a demonstration that was going to be organized. Clearly here we are getting darker and darker here on this particular shot. I don't know if there's anything that I can do here to make this shot any brighter. We'll absolutely try here. Let's do some on-the-fly. Oh, there's a light. Okay, hold on a sec. I didn't do that. That was a light from a news crew here. I just want people to be able to see if anything happens here. And I don't think that there's going to be much here that I can do. But let's try. Let's try here for a moment. No, there's nothing that I'm going to be able to do here to make this feed any better. It's just too dark. I could brighten it up if we could see some of it. And we can see an out. Oh, there's some lights. Those are some news crews. And let's go to the other camera feed here.
Hey, Liz, can you hear me? I can hear you. Liz,
that's
Mike,
Nico
check 1, 2,
Clemens.
Liz.
That's Nico Clemens getting ready with our producer Liz Hall for the 8 o'clock newscast on WTTA. And there we have now, as I mentioned earlier, news crews going into their vans, getting their lights here. And if you're looking outside from inside the Laundrie household now you're just going to see light. A lot of LED lights that are being set up on stands here pointed at the Laundrie household here. So, hey, Angela, thanks a lot for your comment. I'll be looking for more hashtag HeyJB comments here in the Facebook Live comment section. I want to also remind, there is a sizable amount of, we talked about this earlier. Have you been on TikTok? Have you been on Reddit? It's a rabbit hole of conspiracy theories and unsubstantiated claims. And a lot of them, and I know that there are a lot of folks here that are hashtag AJB trying to get my attention, so I would animate the comment on screen to throw up a conspiracy theory of some kind, a claim of some kind. And we're just not going to do it because, again, we're trying to stay rooted in reality here. We have a responsibility to our viewers to stay rooted in reality. And while there might be some online sleuths who have found something very, very interesting, again, we are going to be relying on law enforcement agencies and, of course, all of the credible outlets that we of course, rely on in massive news stories or from stories small to big. That's how it works. So let's go back here live. show you, again, this is the most that we can see here. I'll look for some more hashtag HeyJB comments here, but again, as a reminder, we're not going to be sharing any conspiracy theories. All right, someone's coming out of the house. Let's listen in.
Your handcuffs?
You know, there are several officers inside, several law enforcement officials inside. He's walking.
Well, bring him out. We don't know who did it.
He's back off of the property. Dude, you almost took her out.
You good?
Oh, no, you're good. The cameraman almost hit her in the face.
Some of the chatter here amongst our news crews here, listen, this is a chaotic scene. And again, I spoke to some experience earlier covering events like this, or there are some terms they use to describe when there's this many camera crews outside of one very small location. It can get very much elbow to elbow, and our crews here are working very hard to provide us with the images that you're seeing here. They're doing their job. So a big shout out to our crews in the field here that are doing everything they can to stay in position here and provide us with a shot of value here as far as being able to see something that is lit and see something that is, of course, oh, now, wow, look at that. Okay, so lights are being turned on here left and right. Again, just waiting for more activity here outside of the laundry home. There's 8 on your sides. Nico, oh, okay, we just had somebody go in there. Okay, that is an officer going into the home with brown paper bags. You caught that? What appeared to be brown paper bags, and this is not the first time that we have heard a report of them going into the house with brown paper bags. And the reason why that is significant here, folks, is that investigators will bring in brown paper bags a lot to collect evidence. So we, again, just another little piece, another clue here as we're trying to decipher what's going on inside of the house. We don't know what is going on inside of the house right now, but that's the second time that that officers have been seen going into the front door of this house with paper bags. Take that for what you will at this stage in the investigation here. We're going to get to 8 on your sides. Nico Clemens here in just a moment. I want to bring up really quickly here because it seems like there's activity here at the house. I'm going to bring this up here from Kimberly, hashtag HeyJB. Check out the latest press release from the Grand County Sheriff's Department. I am very glad that Kimberly brought this up because I was going to reference this at the top of our stream for the prayer vigil here because there have been people that have been asking about the Utah double murder. In the last several days, that's the number 1, 2, or maybe the top 3 question that we have received here on WFLA Now. Is Gabby's disappearance connected to the double murder of 2 women, a couple in Utah? A lot of potential connections there as far as time and location, but a release was sent out by the Sheriff's Department there in Grand County saying that there is no connection. They have determined there is no connection between the Utah double homicide and Gabby Petito's disappearance. Let's get you back out here live here, folks. Let's just kind of listen in here for a moment as I gather more hashtag HeyJB comments here out of the Facebook Live comment section.
Justice for Gabby! 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 Justice for Gabby!
Folks, we're standing by here for a live report by 8 on your sides. Nico Clemens at the top of our 8 o'clock newscast on WTTA Great 38. For our audience here in the Tampa Bay area, find WTTA Great 38 in your local listings, and you'll, of course, find our 8 o'clock newscast with team coverage on what is currently occurring here at Brian Laundrie's home. In the meantime, we'll stay here with you live on WFLA Now. Here's Nico Clemens.
And the parents of Brian Laundrie, they wanted to speak with officers, so that's why they're here. They're not speaking with Brian, they're speaking with Brian's parents. But you can hear in the background, dozens of people here in the Northport community have made their way to the Laundrie household. They're demanding Brian Laundrie to come out, speak, tell officers what he knows about Gabby's location. We know Brian Laundrie got back to Northport on the 1st. Gabby's mother filed that missing persons report all the way from New York on the 11th. So tomorrow will make a week since Gabby's mother made that missing persons report. But again, we're still waiting to get more information from police. They did tweet a while ago. They're here because the parents wanted to speak with them. That's all we know right now. We did learn today that officers do not have Gabby's cell phone. That's what a spokesman with the Northport Police Department told us earlier today. Does not have Gabby's cell phone. So that, on top of Brian not speaking with law enforcement officers, it's making it very difficult for officers to find Gabby. We know they were last out west in the Wyoming area, Yellowstone National Park, Grand Teton. They've posted on their social media pages this week pictures of Gabby. But back here at the home again, officers have spent the last hour and a half inside. They're carrying in and out or inside brown bags. They've carried several brown bags inside the home. So we're not sure what they're looking for, what they're searching for, if they're going to collect anything. But again, they're here speaking with the parents. We know the parents are inside. We know people have been at the home the last several days waiting to see if anyone would come out. We now know people are inside the home. They're not speaking with Brian. Again, they're speaking with the parents. So, of course, we're staying on top of this story. We are going to stay here all night. Allison Henning is here as well, our Sarasota County Bureau reporter. And so, of course, we'll bring you the latest once we get that information. Josh and Jen, back to you all.
She deserves answers. Her family deserves answers. Come out with the police, with your lawyer, whatever, and say.
Funny you say that, Josh, because once people learned that officers were at the Laundrie household, it seemed like the entire community just flooded and made their way to the Laundrie household. And at one point, the entire street was blocked, filled with cars and people. So officers have had to clear the street. They've had to turn, basically turn some people away, tell some people, hey, you can't be here. But the street was full with people, full with cars. And if it was brighter outside, we could show you the line of cars just up and down the street right now. So there's no indication that they're going to tell people to stop yelling or screaming, where is Gabby? But we do know they're trying to clear the street because there are tons of people out here right now.
Woo! Where is she? Okay. Come on out. We're going to shine all those lights on your house until you come out, you little coward. Mommy and Daddy can't save you now. You better come on out and tell us where she is. What happened? Her family deserves answers. Her friends deserve answers. If it was your child, you would want answers. So come out and say what happened to her.
Pretty good. What happened?
You guys are just as guilty as your son, and I hope that you rot in hell.
You good? Yep. Yeah. You can turn this off?
Nico gave the shout out, so it's fine that I was in the shout.
I didn't mean to
All right, hey there, folks. JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. Don't go anywhere. Oh, there. Okay, so I thought, again, eyes playing tricks on me, and apologies. I thought that we lost our feed there, and, well, it's not really a feed. If you look very closely, turn up the brightness on your iPhone, you'll be able to see that there is an outline of a palm tree there. Our crews have been out there for an extended period of time here. So we're making some moves here, swapping batteries, just making sure that we can stay on this here for you. And we do have several different feeds to go here. But, okay, so photographer getting a little bit of a rest, pointing up at the sky here, and now, okay, correctly pointed at the house here. We'll try to get to some more comments here. But we just had a comment come in here a short time ago wanting me to clarify the release from the Grand County Sheriff's Department. And this comes from Chief Deputy Daryl Meacham. Okay, so this is again from Utah. It has been determined that Gabby Petito, the Gabby Petito missing person case, is not related to the double homicide case involving Crystal Turner Crystal Turner, and Kylan Choulette, excuse me. So the Grand County Sheriff's Office has determined, based on their investigation, that the double homicide and Gabby Petito's disappearance are not connected. That's what they say. That is the release. It is one sentence long, and that's all that they said, because the Grand County Sheriff's Department in Utah has been inundated with inquiries about that particular case and whether or not it's connected to Gabby Petito disappearing here. Let's go here live, and we'll turn up the audio here. Let's see if we can just listen in to outside Brian Laundrie's home.
And I speak for all of us.
Well, I mean, she's the one backing up. So, I mean, you know, I go with her fault.
Yeah, all your fault.
100%.
Gabby is loved by everybody on this street, homie, and we're not giving up until we figure out what happened to her. So
I don't even see shadows.
Stop being a coward, because your whole entire life has changed no matter what. You're never going to be the same. Your life is never going to be the same, and you are never going to know peace until you come to justice with what happened. You need to confess. Even if it was an accident, she deserves to have an explanation. Her family deserves an explanation.
So if you're on the other
Stop
side.
being a coward and come out and say if it was an accident. Say if it was on purpose.
Go back here.
You know what you were doing?
The house, though.
So come outside. We're not going anywhere. I can do this all night.
But at least you'll see shadows. There's somebody in the back.
We have another feed here now to show you as we continue to look here at the Laundrie home here. Lighting is definitely a concern now, and it is dark out there, but wow, if you our camera crews are zooming in here on a shadowy figure here, and that appeared to be an officer. Again, if you're just joining us here, folks, there have been several numerous interesting developments that have occurred here outside of the home, and let's kind of rewind here and backtrack for a second on what we have seen. First, before the stream began, we got word that officers were entering the home with brown paper bags. Then, what appeared to be brown paper bags in the hand of an officer, that happened about 10 minutes ago. So an additional officer going in with what appeared to be a brown paper bag in their hand, or at least several brown paper bags. Now, we bring that up. Why? Why is that interesting? Because brown paper bags being brought into the home of somebody that is being investigated, that is usually to collect evidence. When you add that up with the fact that about 30 to 45 minutes ago now, we had officers going into the silver Ford Mustang convertible in the driveway that Allison Henning has been reporting has been there for really the entirety of the week, that when you pull the two together, we're starting to see a little bit of a pattern here as to what is happening inside of the household. It tells us something, but at the same time, it tells us very, very little, because we don't know what's going on inside of the house. But officers have been spotted going into, including on this stream, spotted going into the house with brown paper bags. And we also had on the stream a short time ago, and you can rewind if you want to find that moment, officers going into the silver Ford Mustang convertible there in the driveway. And we believe at this time that is not that's not an unmarked police vehicle, that is a vehicle that is either a family member of the Laundrie family, a friend of the Laundrie family, or perhaps of a legal aid, maybe, but that vehicle has been there for a considerable amount of time. Let's listen in here one more time on WFLA Now.
Brian, come on out with your coward parents and your coward self, because we're not going anywhere.
I want to bring up a great...
She has family who loves her. She has friends who love her. America's daughter.
As you listen here to some of the chatter from some of the folks that have gathered out there, and they are chanting quite loudly here. I believe that they have some megaphone devices there to, of course, amplify their voice here. But let's, someone made a great comment, and this is why being live here with our audience on WFLA Now is so beneficial to us and advantageous, because bring up things that in the moment here can help us decipher what might be actually going on here. And they didn't use hashtag HeyJB, so I can't animate the comment on screen. Of course, that's our system here, because we don't want to animate a comment on screen that somebody doesn't want their profile picture and their name on screen here. But they pointed out here that Gabby Petito lived with Brian Laundrie for a period of about a year. And that's something that we found out here in the last several days. And could the evidence that is being collected here, or could the reason that they are bringing in those brown paper bags is not to take things that belong to the Laundrie family, but belong to Gabby Petito? Again, it's just an observation here from our audience. We don't know if that's the case. We don't know if the brown paper bags are connected to them collecting things from inside of the household here. But it's something that originally didn't enter my mind here. So a big shout out to the commenter here that noted that here a short time ago. Again, use hashtag HeyJB, and we can feature your comments here on screen. I'll look for some more comments starting now here in our Facebook Live, Twitter, and YouTube comment sections here. I'll be starting to look for them here now. I know we have a bunch coming in. In the meantime, let's listen in here outside of the house.
How would you feel if your son was missing in the world and no one would say anything? No one would tell you where he is. No one would tell you what happened. You were just left in the dark. How would you feel? You're being a fucking coward.
All right, JB back with you here, folks, as we continue to monitor all the developments here outside of the home. There hasn't been much in the last 20 minutes or so here. The last that was significant was probably about 20 or so minutes ago, when we had an officer enter the home with what appeared to be a brown paper bag in their hand. And again, that's usually to collect something as far as law enforcement. But we don't know what is going on inside of the house. We don't even know if Brian's in the house, but more on that here in just a second. As we've been talking about, we can animate comments on screen here using the hashtags that we have. Normally we have a lot of folks here joining us, like Justin Shecker, Masa Saidi, Walt Buteau, a lot of folks that are here all around your screen. We're usually in a quad box format here where we can all take turns answering your questions. It's Friday night. A lot of crews home with their family here, other than our crews, of course, that are obviously here in the field. So the only hashtag that we have here is hashtag HeyJB, and I'll feature some of the comments that we've received here in the last several minutes. Helen here, hashtag HeyJB. Could the parents be charged if they know something and not say anything? And I think that is, of course, within the realm of possible here. But that's secondary, completely secondary to whether or not, first and foremost, Brian Laundrie is going to be charged with a crime. And we don't, at this time, he is a person of interest, and there are no grounds to arrest him for any crime. Let's keep that in mind. Innocent until proven guilty. Folks don't want to hear it? There are people in our comment section that don't want to hear that fact, that foundational fact here for the law and how the law works in this country. But that's the fact. Innocent until proven guilty. And while the optics here with Brian remaining silent, they're poor. They're really, really nightmarishly poor here. Let's keep in mind, innocent until proven guilty here. Let's get to Kyra's comment here. Hashtag HeyJB. Is it possible they arrest the parents? The other cop mentioned handcuffs. Arresting the parents before arresting Brian would be, I would need some legal expert here to charge a parent with a crime and before charging Brian with a crime. Now let's just kind of, let's hear from the officer. Hold on.
All to please, he understands the purpose, the chanting, all that. But we ask for you guys to please be calm, okay? And respect the neighborhood, okay? But it's not helping what you're doing. You being here, we understand that. But the yelling, the profanities that were earlier, I'm not saying they are now, is not helping. So I just ask you please just to have respect for the neighborhood. We understand why you're here, and our officers have been very lenient in working with you all. I can't speak to that, but I'm here for you guys just to try to keep this calm and peaceful, all right? My officers we're here with you guys.
We're being peaceful, we just want answers.
Thank you with the bullhorn, thank you. So please, I ask you, please keep it down.
Is Brian dirty laundry in the house or not?
I thought we were good. Okay, we can talk over there.
I can't scream, so I'm asking a personal question.
So I ask you please again, on behalf of Chief Garrison, please respect the peace, okay? You guys can be here, but please respect that.
There's no peace until Gabby's found.
Are they showing her respect? Don't worry. Where's Gabby's respect? Where's her family's respect?
That brings us to our next comment here. And Kista Gifford, hashtag HeyJB. Am I the only one that thinks calling names and disrupting the family isn't okay? And to Kista's comment here, I've had a lot of comments our way. People that believe that while finding Gabby and knowing Gabby's whereabouts is the #1 priority right now, that there's a right way to go about things, there's a wrong way to go about things. But at this point, I don't think anything is going to hush this crowd.
Where is Gabby? Next step is we're blocking the roadway. Get him outside.
It could get a lot worse from here.
I'll say this. The people have been arrested for less. And so I think that you heard the officer there talking about the word that came to mind is leniency. I can't think of many news stories where a crowd of people were on the front lawn. Remember, when we started this stream, we had the picture of the entire crowd on the front lawn, and then it was the officer that pushed them back and pushed them back. I don't know if I've ever seen that being allowed for as long as it was allowed for. It was a period of 15, 20, maybe even more than 20 minutes where everyone was just on the front lawn of the Laundrie home and no one was being told to move backwards. It was a very bizarre, strange scene there, but eventually they told everybody to move back into the street. They're clearly obstructing traffic in this roadway. And folks, there have been people commenting, is this legal? In fact, where is the comment here, just so that I can prove to you that this is we've had a lot of people asking without the hashtag, is this legal? Is this demonstration legal? Herbert Bryant, hashtag HeyJB. I think the police should try to keep the crowd outside the home quiet. Yeah, and not just it's really for the neighbors here, but the neighbors here, we have heard from neighbors here in this area. They are extremely upset that this is happening in their community, in their home. Just imagine if this was happening where you live. Imagine if it was happening just down the street, or worse, in the home right next to yours. And this has been reality for you the last several days. People just are outside of your home at all hours of the day, all hours of the night, and now reaching here a fever pitch with everybody chanting, including with megaphones here. So whether it's, back to the point I was trying to make, the officer said, we understand why you're here, we're being lenient, but people have been arrested for less. So if people continue to not cooperate with the commands of from investigators here, or from officers here, they're disturbing the peace. Could people actually leave here in handcuffs? I'm sure it's entirely possible, but at this time, I think that police understand why people are here, why people have gathered, and there's going to be a lot of leniency, but only to a point. Let's get to some more of the comments here in the Facebook Live comment section. As I promised, I'm just going to continue to take hashtag HeyJB comments here until we have some activity here outside of the house. Let's see. Gabby Culpepper, hashtag HeyJB, did the camera crews see anything being taken out of the car? Hey, commenters, this is where you guys can help us out. I was watching. I didn't see anything. But this brings us to another comment here, Gabby, from Kyle Kellerman. Hashtag HeyJB. Kyle's got a lot of rings in his hands there in his profile picture there. Hashtag HeyJB. Could they just have been getting stuff out of the car for the family so that they didn't have to go outside? Kyle, yes. This is a very astute comment here from one of our commenters, one of our viewers here on WFLA Now. The family might have requested to get something, to retrieve an item from their vehicle, the Ford Silver Mustang there, the convertible there in the driveway, and they didn't feel safe going outside. They didn't want to be photographed by the media or of course, on a live stream by all the folks that are out here. So maybe they requested and gave the keys to officers and said, would you please retrieve ABC item from the vehicle? So Kyle, that's a great comment here, and we don't know. We don't know what's going on inside of the house right now. Ashley Crocker, hashtag HeyJB. No matter what happened, I hope her family is able to get her belongings out of the house, hoping for a safe return. As are we all, hoping for a safe return. And we don't know, and I want to make this clear for Ashley's comment, while Ashley's comment is up here on screen, we don't know if anything is being collected inside of the home, and we don't know whether something is being collected, if that's something connected to the Laundrie family, or if that's a belonging of Gabby Petito. Remember, Gabby Petito is said to have lived in this home for an extended period of time. These two were engaged to be married. And people have commented at me and asked me if that's out of the ordinary to live at your fiance's house with their parent, with your future mother and father-in-law. And maybe, folks, you can comment at me again here. I don't think that that's very, much out of the ordinary here. You live in a lot of weird places, or a lot of interesting places right after college, or right, in your early 20s when you're trying to, set up the foundation for the rest of your life. Sometimes you'll be in different apartments. You'll stay in different family members' houses. I don't think that that's out of the ordinary, but that's just me speaking there. Again, let's get to the comments. We have a crew here that's kind of moving down the street. A little tap of the touchscreen here, and we can see that we are moving down the street here. But you know what? I think that they're just returning to their vehicle to get ready for the 11 o'clock news here on WFLA. Let's listen in here for a moment and just see if there's any continuous shouting going on here, any noise, or whether the folks that have gathered here outside of the home, have they listened to officers and cooperated with officers in being quiet.
Hey man, just trying to figure out how much longer we're gonna need to stay here.
We're not going anywhere. Get your butt outside.
Yeah, we're day shift.
Again, we are not going anywhere until you are in handcuffs. Give us some damn answers.
Well, there's people, yeah, but yeah, just let me know what the plan is. That's all. Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Good to see you.
Let's go to a camera shot here showing the crowd. Back here with you live, folks, on WFLA Now. JB Buno here with you. Let's kind of reset with where we are. As a reminder, the very latest for you is on WFLA.com, the WFLA app, the latest on the search for Gabby Petito. There we have a hub for all of our articles connecting everything that we know right now with Gabby Petito's disappearance. So while we have an opportunity here, we'll go back to the live coverage here in just a second. But WFLA.com, the WFLA app, is where all the latest updates, everything that we have factually confirmed, everything from law enforcement, it's all on WFLA.com, the WFLA app, as well as analysis here. Now, what's interesting is here we have a woman that has been shouting at the house. Let's see. I think we have an interview with her live. Let's listen in.
Nascimento.
You a Northport resident?
Yes.
How long have you lived in Northport?
6 years.
Wow. You're out here tonight. We've heard you. Just what did it mean for you to be out here tonight as police are going in and out of the home?
I just hope that somebody would do the same for me.
Justice!
I hope that strangers, neighbors, the community would come together if it was me in my situation. So that's why I'm out here, and I feel like he's a coward. And even if it was an accident or anything, really, I mean, he knows something. So for him not to say anything is just heart-wrenching for me, because as a mother of 2 boys, if something happened to either one of my boys, I certainly hope that whoever last seen them, which was Brian Laundrie, would say something, or say at least, it was an accident, or, whatever, and something happened, we got into an argument, whatever. But he's not saying anything, and so that's why I'm here. We're going to harass him until he comes out, and I'm okay with that.
To see all these people out here tonight, what does that tell you? What does that show you? To see all these people out here calling on him to speak and say something. What does that show you? What does that tell you?
Yeah. Honestly, we were here when it kind of first started, so we kind of saw the police come in and everything else. So it was exciting to see that more and more people were coming, and everyone was chanting for her and in her corner, and to show her that even though we don't know her personally, we're here for you and you're not alone. I mean, I hope that wherever she is, she knows that people are fighting for her.
Wow. Last thing, I'll let you go. You've seen officers going in and out. What do you see them? Do you see them carrying things or bringing anything out, or what are you seeing officers do? What have you seen?
Definitely. I saw the first time they were carrying some paper bags, so maybe it's to collect something. Initially, I thought it was to cover his face, because I thought he was a coward and wouldn't come out with his face. But I think it's to collect evidence.
J-E-N-N or J-E-N?
J-E-N-N. 2 N's.
Thank you so much.
Nascimento. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Hey, Jen Nascimento. That's my wife right there, baby.
Fist bump right there from Nico Clemens there to the woman. That's the calmest I've seen her all night. She's been screaming at the top of her lungs, so it was interesting there to see her in her calm voice. That's probably, that woman there has been the most vocal as far as using her vocal cords here to shout in the direction of this house. I think that she might be the one with the megaphone device. But quite frankly, based on some of the stuff that we were hearing, I don't know if she needs it. She's been shouting for hours now, but it was nice to hear her answer some questions from 8 on Your Sides. Nico Clemens here. We're live outside of the house. They're really, guys, turn up that iPhone brightness if you're watching on a mobile device, and you'll be able to see the faint outline of an officer that is keeping the peace here outside of the Laundrie home here. Again, let's reset, and then we have an entire queue of your hashtag HJB comments to get to here. Earlier on tonight, we got word of a demonstration that was going to occur outside of the Laundrie home. Of course, that's not something that any news outlet is going to share out information of and put on broadcast, just because first and foremost, it was unconfirmed reports. We didn't have a confirmed report that they were going to be organizing, and secondly, it's because of situations like this, because you don't know if there's somebody out there that might have really bad intentions as far as showing up here to the Laundrie home and doing something. We don't want this situation to get any worse. So we had some early word come into our newsroom regarding a demonstration outside of the home. We also got word, of course, a confirmed word, something that we were putting out on air, that there was a prayer vigil that was coming together not too far away from here in Northport, Florida, people that were coming together to share a message of hope. But then we got word, everything changed when we got word from News Nation's Brian Entin. Follow, of course, News Nation, a great outlet for us here as part of our company, Next Star Nation. Brian Entin reporting he was stationed outside of this house. He was right here in the spot. He's probably right there next to our reporters here. Brian, a ally of ours as far as our reporting here. And Brian reported that he was the first to say to us, police have entered the home. And then, of course, it became the scene that we have now. This was before the sun went down. And then what happened, we had reports, and then it confirmed we had officers going in with brown paper bags, which can usually be used to gather evidence, collect items of some sort. And then officers coming out of the house to collect items from the silver Ford Mustang convertible. That's the vehicle that has been, we don't know whose vehicle that is, but that is a vehicle that has been in the driveway for several days now. And we know because we've had reporters here around the clock here monitoring the developments at the Laundrie household. So additionally, the other only significant development worth passing along here to you, trying to catch everybody up here on WFLA now for folks that maybe just found this live stream, was the fact that, again, perhaps one of the most bizarre moments in this particular story so far, the entire crowd was on the front lawn of the house. That's trespassing times however many people that are there. They were all on the front lawn of the house. And that, yes, that includes camera crews and news crews that were there. Everyone was on the front lawn of the house. And then, of course, the officer came and pushed everybody back into the street, where now clearly the roadway is being blocked. And people have been asking about that question because we've had roadways blocked for more and less here for protests and demonstrations over the past year and a half here in the Tampa Bay area. So that's where we are. Let's now get to some of the comments here. Here's what I want to explain what you're looking at here on the right side of your screen, because it's more than just a black screen with a faint couple of lights here. Here's what I believe is happening right now. Oh, there we saw a photographer with a flash. Let's talk about lighting here for just a second. Everything here revolves around battery. Right now, the camera crews that are feeding back feeds here, including some that are doing it via cellular device, we're doing it here from several news crews and their professional news cameras. Battery is a precious resource here. You can't plug into the concrete beneath your feet when you're at a scene like this. So right now, everyone's conserving battery, and the most draining, perhaps, of any device is LED lights. So you can't see anything right now of the Laundrie household, and that's because no one has their lights on, but there are lights in position here. So these are trained news professionals. What will happen is, if something happens at this house in the minutes ahead, what the news crews will do is flip on their lights, because again, they're trying to save battery, flip on those lights, and then we'll be able to see what's going on. So right now, everyone's conserving battery, but there's very much an active scene here, even though now, clearly, we just have a faint cell light in the face of the officer that was telling and instructing people to try to keep their calm and keep their voices down. And there goes the phone. Turning on, oh, and there it's on again. Okay, let's get to matters that matter here in the Facebook Live comment section. Jordan, I want to make sure that this, I alert you folks here to this next comment. This is unconfirmed, but again, here with WFLA Now, a big part of what we do here as far as live streaming is bringing you in to the conversation here. So any observations that you made here on this stream, we want to hear from you. So Jordan Miller here a short time ago saying #HeyJB, again, unconfirmed here. She or he, and I don't know which one is Jordan here based on the profile picture, so he, she, they, a phone was removed from the vehicle when they were going through it. They put it in their pocket when it was passed out of the vehicle. I wish I had instant replay here for you folks, but I don't. But we did have the clip earlier, or that we were on live stream earlier when they were going through the Ford Mustang convertible. Now Jordan here is saying that he, she, or they saw a phone, a cellular phone, being removed from that vehicle. Now, I can tell you that I was worried about the 7 screens, the touch screens here in front of me, and I did not catch a phone being removed from the Ford Mustang convertible, but that is entirely possible. Maybe we can get some #HeyJordan comments going in here in the Facebook Live comment section so that we can know that you're responding to Jordan and whether or not you saw the same. Did you see a phone get removed from the Ford Mustang convertible? That's an interesting interesting note here. And again, to the comment earlier from Kyle, could they have just been getting stuff out of the car for the family inside because the family is afraid of coming out to face this crowd? That's entirely possible too. The family could be in there speaking with officers and say, listen, we have some stuff in the car. We don't feel comfortable. We don't feel that it's safe to leave our home right now. Can an officer of the law please go out there and retrieve these items from the Ford Mustang convertible? And that's entirely what could have happened. So everyone's looking for Gabby's phone. Everyone wants to know where Gabby's phone is, but let's not make any mistake based on Jordan's comment here, whether or not a phone was removed from the vehicle. That let's just say that it's highly unlikely that is a phone related to the disappearance of Gabby Petito, at least based on what we know here at this time. Jose Fuentes, #HJB. Did you say 2 days ago that he was going to Cancun? Let's make this clear. We've been doing a lot of live streams. I never said that he was going to Cancun. We were having a conversation about Brian Laundrie is a free man. It's a free man. And we were getting into a conversation on WFLA Now. If he wanted to, right now, buy a plane ticket and leave from Tampa International Airport and go to Cancun for a little getaway to escape this, could he legally? The answer is yes. So we were having a conversation here. I never said he was going to Cancun. I was asking the question, and it was a part of a conversation based on one of your comments that we had come in here. Could he leave right now? Police say they know exactly where he is. So, and we have a comment that just came in here a short time ago. Let's get to Brooke Donahue's comment here. Perfect segue here. #HJB. Have you heard anything about Brian possibly being missing as if he fled? I saw a comment saying that. The answer is no. So Chief Garrison, Northport Police Chief Garrison, said 3 times in the press conference they know exactly where Brian is. And it was said, other reporters have indicated to me that it was said with intention to let people know they know where Brian is. They might not be able to charge him with a crime. They might not be able to charge him in connection with the van being, driven back here to Florida, but they know exactly where he is, and they're keeping tabs on him. What we don't know is whether or not he's inside of this house. There's family members here, and we don't know whether or not Brian is in fact inside of this home. Let's just I want to keep folks updated. We're going to continue to take more #HJB comments here in the Facebook Live comment section, and in Twitter and on YouTube as well. I know we have a sizable audience across social media here, but let's just listen in here to see what folks are saying here outside of Brian Laundrie's home. The time now 8:39 Eastern.
There's evidence in there, so you might as well just confess to what happened, because we're all waiting. They brought in the bag.
Is he all right? He's a good I like him. That's good. That's like,
Well, weeks like this.
30 days. Yeah.
Well, because when stuff like this happens, that's what we've been waiting for. And that's why we're still here. They kept it. I get it. It's a long day. Something bigger could happen.
It is. I could see Keith Williams. Williams. You know the guy. Yeah. I can hear him talking.
The producer just emailed me. He's like, I know you're probably up to your eyeballs. And he was like, I'm out.
Some murmurs, just the crowd restless, as you would imagine. I know that there are a lot of commenters here that that wish that they could be here. I just know because that's what you've been saying to me in the Facebook Live and YouTube Live and Twitter comment sections here, replying on Twitter as well. So many people saying, I wish I could be there tonight because you want to be. There's so many people that just want to be part of this movement calling for Brian Laundrie to come forward. There's so much frustration out there, and you can bang the glass on your iPhone or Android keyboard all day long, but it's not going to help. It's not going to help as far as solving many of your frustrations that are out there. That are people that wanted what I was trying to get at. Not that typing on a keyboard isn't going to accomplish anything. I don't want to be taken out of context. What I meant is that there are people that want to do more than just type. But with that said, there have been a lot of people online that have been trying to comb through. I had a link sent my way earlier that there are some sleuths on Reddit that are going through literally hours and hours of Yellowstone National Park webcam video to see if they have any hint of the van or Gabby or any clue that points them in the direction of Gabby Petito's whereabouts. And this is one of the better things that the internet and social media and collaborative efforts online can accomplish as far as people coming together and trying to do some good. So it's been heartwarming to see some of those efforts, but also at the same time we have to be responsible here and telling you, be very, very cautious as to the amount of misinformation that is out there. I had somebody or several people blow up my phone first thing this morning, right when I woke up, with this, I'm not going to say what it was. It was an unsubstantiated claim, and then a couple hours later, it was proven to be completely false and fabricated. Be very mindful that there are landmines of misinformation out there online. Keep it to the reputable sources of information here. We can have a conversation based on what we know and what we don't know here on WFLA Now, and we can stay rooted in reality. But when of course you're out on the web and looking for more on Gabby Petito's story and the latest facts that are out there, be mindful that a lot of times you're not going to find facts. You're going to find unsubstantiated claims and misinformation. Let's get to some more of the comments that are coming in here. I want to bring in Amber's comment. We did get a couple of #HeyJordan comments here for the comment. Let me put up Jordan's comment from earlier here. Again, this was unconfirmed, but Jordan Miller here had said, #HeyJB, a phone was removed from the vehicle when they were going through it. They put it in their pocket when it was passed out of the vehicle. And again, I told you I didn't see a phone get removed. And let's get to the comments that came in after that. Amber Bumgardner, #HeyJordan. I have a recording of what you're talking about. I believe the officer put something in his pocket. Okay, so there you have something perhaps going into the pocket. I think we're getting, oh, yeah? Okay, I did see that come through on social media. Okay. That's not that big of a... Okay. We just got in some new developments here from News Nation's Brian Entin. Great follow on Twitter. He's at the house, and he has confirmed, this is again via correspondent for News Nation, Brian Entin, our Florida correspondent for News Nation, and be sure to check out News Nation now. News Nation confirming that Brian Laundrie is not in this home. He's not in this house. Family members of Brian Laundrie are said to be in this house, but not Brian Laundrie himself. So that's a new update that we just got in here moments ago. And again, we're talking about credible sources of information. 8 on your sides. Allison Henning, find her online, on Twitter, on social media. Find Nico Clemens. Find Jordan Shecker. Find Masa Saidi, Walt Buteau, and News Nation's Brian Entin. You'll get reliable, credible information from those sources, including from us here at WFLA and WFLA.com, the WFLA app. Good opportunity to remind you that we have a hub there for everything related to Gabby Petito and what we know at this time. So you can find it on WFLA.com and the WFLA app. Let's come back here with you live and get to another comment here. And Heather Colern, come on. The comment's going to come up here. Come on. Waiting for it? No? Okay, well, hold on. our interactive tool here to public. There it is. Heather Colern. I wasn't lying. Hashtag HJB. I don't know if it was a phone, but I also saw them take something out similar to a phone or maybe a paper, fold it up and put it in his pocket. Prayers to Gabby and her family for a safe return. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask our team members here. I know we have some members of the newsroom here. Maybe we can get that clip of when they were going through the Ford Mustang here in the driveway, and we can pass along that information to you, or that video. We can watch that video here together and pass along the information. Maybe we can look a little bit closer as to what was being taken out of the vehicle. We are live here without a break of any kind here. So I'll stay here with you live, folks, to answer your questions. And again, one more time, all lights here at the scene have been powered down because the last thing that you want to have happen is activity at the house and then your lights go out because you don't have power. So all the lights that have been set up here for news crews are powered down right now to conserve battery for that moment when something does in fact happen. So it's dark right now. If something lights up, you know something's happening here because news crews spotted something. They're powering up. Look at that. I swear I didn't plan it. Let's listen in.
What do you got to say? They don't have them.
You gotta move from the back of the van. We're gonna be back now. You gotta move.
Clear the driveway. Clear the driveway, please. Clear the driveway, please. Clear the driveway, please.
What do you have to say?
Where is Gabby?
Say something. Everybody here is waiting. This is your community. This is your community.
Norfolk Police, say something!
Say
Say something! Say something! Norfolk Police, say something!
We deserve an answer.
Give us an answer!
We deserve answers. Why is nothing being done?
Give us some answers!
Clear the roadway.
Yes, what was the...
Sorry. That was over quick.
Yeah, no, that was it.
Did you get anything?
Yeah, I mean, I got them getting in the car and then the car driving by.
Yeah.
How about you? I saw you pop out, yeah.
Yeah,
You had to.
I got them coming out. And then
Yeah,
I've got
it's-
Avis's down there. So.
Yeah, I saw, yeah. I heard.
Where the fuck is Brian? Oh, dude, you're on it. I'm on it. We're all on it. We're all on it.
Not at all.
Officers leaving the scene here of Brian Laundrie's family's home here in Northport, Florida, continuing to listen in.
Oh, wow.
Off your cards? Do you want me to...
And then I got this, so they'll probably want this coming out.
They're right here.
Okay.
Hey, this...
Here's my angle. I don't have a lot. You guys, I figured you were down there.
I mean, unless you
I got
something
it coming out. I got a pretty good shot.
of them. Oh, the cops.
It's okay, because I get the call from anyway. I was on the other side.
Yeah, so I think we're good. Because what I couldn't get, I think you were there.
Yeah.
All right, some news chatter there from our crews there in the field trying to just decipher what exactly just happened here. And what we know is that officers left. We don't know at this time if all of the officers left, but it certainly, as of right now, multiple officers left the Laundrie home. So we can't say that all of the officers are gone there. Again, this is clearly an issue where safety is on the minds here of officers with the Northport Police Department. They don't want any crime being committed here by any of the folks that have gathered here outside of the home. There are some emotionally charged people who are really invested in the Gabby Petito case here that are outside of the home here. And the last thing that we want, last thing that officers want, the last thing that anybody wants really is any incident happening here tonight. So could there be an additional officer, whether it's in the home, outside of the home, stationed in the vehicle right there on the street? It's entirely possible. But officers seen leaving the Laundrie home there, and it's hard to know based on our camera vantage point there what they left with. And that's going to be the big question. We're going to have a live report here coming up here from 8 on Your Side's Allison Henning coming up here in just a moment. We'll get you back out to the live feed. They're powering down now here, just a bit of a break for our equipment. News camera equipment does need rest, just like anyone does. So they're powering down here for just a moment. We'll get back to our live coverage here and decipher exactly what just happened outside of the Laundrie home. But we can say with certainty, of course, that officers left the home. Allison Henning has just called in here, and let's see if we can bring in Allison in any way here. Hopefully, Allison, shoot me a text. I want to hear from you. Shoot me a text here on my phone, because what I'm trying to do here is finding out if you're going to be joining us via the live camera feed or if you're going to be joining us via the cell phone, because if you're joining us via phone, I could bring you up here on the phone. Oh, no. Okay, you are joining us via the camera feed. The camera feed is back up. Allison, if you have us, what just happened here at the Laundrie household?
Hey, JB, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you, Allison. You're live here on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and WFLA.com, the WFLA app. What just happened here outside the Laundrie household?
Alrighty. So just a few seconds ago, we did see 4 officers come out from Brian Laundrie's parents' home. As you remember, his family, his parents, invited police here to talk to them, so this was at their request. They got here about 6:20, so it's just about 9 o'clock, so they were here for some time. But you know, of course, there's quite a crowd out here tonight who was kind of demanding some answers, not just from Brian and his family, but from the police. What kind of conversation happened inside there? There was a minivan parked in the driveway, a police minivan, and the officers got in, they cleared the roadway, and they drove off. They did not say anything about what happened inside that home. Northport Police did tell us that they are going to be giving some sort of an update. I'm not sure if that's going to come tonight, but they said to expect an update at some point. Of course, I think everyone here, everyone at home, they want to know kind of what happened inside that home. But at this point in time, Northport Police, who left the scene here, their lips were sealed. They did not say anything about exactly what happened inside.
Allison Henning reporting here, folks, and we're working on any updates that we can get in here to the newsroom, because this is a very active scene, and we, based on of course what we have here in the newsroom and what's going on here, we don't anticipate this coming to a close anytime soon. We're getting in some information to our newsroom that there might be additional developments. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna keep you posted here on the very latest here. Allison, we're looking here. Just confirm here for us, Allison, that we got additional reporters here just stationed outside of the Laundrie home.
Yes, lots of reporters stationed outside the Laundrie home right now. If you look in the driveway, you can see there are 2 officers kind of standing out there, obviously earlier in the evening when this kind of all happened, when the police first arrived on scene here. Everyone kind of flooded onto their property, onto the lawn. Police pushed everyone back, and now the road is kind of filled with a combination of people from this community and news media from the area and across the country. So I think police will probably keep a presence out here for some time until things clear up. You know, obviously this is the most activity I've seen out here over the past couple of days, so it's been a lot. I think for a lot of the neighbors out here as well, it's been a lot of chanting happening. So police.
Allison, stand by here for a moment, folks.
This is a neighborhood as well.
Allison, stand by for a moment, folks. We have a major breaking development here just into the newsroom. We're back in 60 seconds.
WFLA Now will begin momentarily. WFLA Now will begin momentarily. Breaking news on WFLA Now. Here's JB Buno.
Just into the newsroom moments ago, confirmed by our sister station Pix 11 in New York, Brian Laundrie, the fiancé of Gabby Petito, the person of interest in her disappearance, is officially missing. His whereabouts unknown at this time, putting him in the same exact situation here as far as his status as his fiancée, Gabby Petito. Gabby Petito is missing, and now Brian Laundrie is missing. Again, confirmed here by WFLA.com here moments ago, folks. This is not the update that we wanted. After Chief Garrison said a couple of days ago they know exactly where Brian is and looked into the camera and told the public, we know where Brian is, the situation has changed. Brian's whereabouts at this hour are unknown, as confirmed by Pix 11 here. So first and foremost, all week long we have been saying here, where is Gabby? Now the question is, where is Brian Laundrie? We've been here outside of the house here, and now a picture is emerging here. We're starting to piece all of this together. We did not know why officers were here at the Laundrie household earlier. About an hour ago, we told you that News Nation Now's Brian Enton confirmed that Brian Laundrie was not in this house, but we did know that there was a chance that he was staying in a home in this area because of family potentially in the area. We now know here through Pix 11 and from News Nation, as we understand it, that right now no one knows where Brian Laundrie is, or if they do, they're not talking. Allison Henning, are you there? Still with us? Again, we lost Allison. And hold on, folks. There's some chatter going on in our newsroom. Back in 30. I just want to pass along some information. We just got News Nation is in the process of confirming that Brian Laundrie is missing. But Pix 11, our sister station in New York, and again, this is a story that intersects a lot of different states. Those states, of course, being Utah and Wyoming, where Gabby was last known to be in that area of the country. New York, where they departed from and where a lot of members of the family are in New York on Long Island, and also here in Florida, the scene that you're currently watching here outside of the Laundrie home. For those of you just joining us, if you're just finding us on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, this story has now taken a major turn of events. Brian Laundrie is said to be missing and confirmed to be missing by Pix 11. Hey, Allison Henning, I believe, is now joining us from the scene. Allison, are you hearing anything there? Has news reached the folks that have gathered there at this scene outside of the Laundrie household that Brian is not just not in this house, but his whereabouts are unknown at this hour?
You know, obviously this just came into our newsroom. I'm kind of looking around. It doesn't look like the crowd out here is aware at this point just yet. I'm sure they're going to be here in the next few minutes. A lot of the people who came out here kind of left as police did. There's still quite a few people here, but it has kind of calmed down a little bit since the police exited the Laundrie household in the last 10-20 minutes or so. But yeah, no, at this point, not that I can see, I cannot see that anyone here is aware or talking about it in terms of, you know, people from the Northport community who are out here right now.
All right, so listen, we just got in some more information. Allison, stand by here. This is on WFLA.com, the WFLA app, where you can find all this information. The information I'm about to read to you folks is from our hardworking crew here at WFLA.com. This is what we just got in here moments ago. According to Brian Laundrie's attorney, and again, I'll read the office here, that's Stephen Bertolino, an attorney's office in East Islip, New York. According to Brian Laundrie's attorney, the whereabouts of Brian Laundrie are currently unknown. The quote that was released and the statement that was released, I'll read as follows. The FBI is currently at the Laundrie residence removing property to assist in locating Brian. As of now, the FBI is now looking for both Gabby and Brian. Several members of the Northport Police Department entered the home of Brian Laundrie, the fiancé of missing 22-year-old Gabby Petito, on Friday evening. Yes, that continues on here with what we are knowing now. Let's look here at the scene, and Allison, I would imagine that it's just a matter of time before news reaches this crowd that not just Gabby is missing, Brian Laundrie is missing. Let's listen in.
Yeah, you know, I think it's probably just a matter of minutes at this point. You know, I should mention a lot of people have been streaming all of this on their phones, so I think a lot of people, their phones actually died. So that might be part of the reason why some folks are not getting the news quite yet. But yeah, I'm sure it's just a matter of moments here. Right now, you probably hear some hollering in the background. That's Northport Police asking people to clear the roadway. It's continued to be kind of an issue out here tonight with so many people trying to see what's going on here at the Laundrie household.
Allison, if you have to run, we'll let you go here, but what are we looking at here on our screens?
Looks like we've got some Northport police officers. It's very dark out here, even for me. Looks like they were just opening some sort of a box. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with what they were doing inside, or if that's just some of their gear that they were just checking on. But it doesn't look like anything major that we should be concerned about.
Allison Henning reporting for us at the scene here. Again, combing through a lot of new information that is just coming in here, folks. It's Friday night. It's 9:04 Eastern time here, this September 17th. And this is now a major development in the Gabby Petito disappearance. Her fiancé, the man that was with her on the road, on this cross-country road trip from New York all the way out to Grand Teton National Park in northwest Wyoming, Brian Laundrie, is missing. No one knows where Brian is. And it seems it's going to make some of the moments on stream here that we were talking about earlier seem a bit silly, because we were talking about whether or not the FBI or members of law enforcement were here for protection reasons to keep this from escalating here in Northport, Florida. But we now have it confirmed from the attorney for Brian Laundrie that they were there at the house to collect evidence because they don't know where he is. So it is confirmed Brian Laundrie is missing. They were at this house collecting evidence to hopefully track him down. What's interesting about this is that this is now a missing persons case. Allison, we've been talking about a missing persons case pertaining to Gabby Petito. Now we have a missing persons case. This is not a manhunt. Brian Laundrie has been charged with a crime. His disappearance, Allison, is extremely alarming here. But again, at this time, and I just want to have this confirmed here, we have not heard of Brian Laundrie being charged with a crime. So this is now a missing persons case for both Gabby Petito and her fiance, Brian Laundrie.
Yeah, that appears to be the case. And, you know, it's interesting now that the Laundrie family has invited police into their home. We saw them, of course, going through that vehicle, which, you know, now knowing that he is gone, is that his vehicle? I'm not sure. I'm not sure otherwise why they would be going into it, possibly collecting some evidence in there, obviously, based off what his attorney said that was the reason why they were here. So, you know, the question now is, could whatever they gathered in this home, up until this point, obviously, it was a bunch of silence. So now, you know, now that they were able to collect some data to help find him, could this also help in finding Gabby?
You know what's interesting, Allison, and I know that you cover Northport, and I know that you, of course, covered the press conference several days ago with Chief Garrison, Northport police chief there, and he said several times, we know where Brian is, we know where Brian is. That was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And now here we are, and they don't know where Brian is. So we have, and what I think the next question that's going to be extremely important is, we've been asking all week long, where and when was Brian known to last be at a particular location? Now, or excuse me, Gabby was where Gabby was known to be in a particular location. Now the question is going to be, when and where was the last time we saw Brian Laundrie? Because we knew as of a couple of days ago, the police knew exactly where he was. But now it's going to be, was he last seen here in Sarasota County or in the Tampa Bay area here on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday? When was the last time that we saw Brian Laundrie? And this is going to be now the major question as investigators track down, try not to just track down Brian, but try to track down Gabby as well.
Right, yeah, JB, and I know you said it was a couple of days ago. Actually, I know this all seems like a long stretch of time, but it was actually just yesterday when we heard from Chief Todd Garrison. So when that question was asked, do you know where Brian is? He said yes. We asked if he was at the home. A reporter asked that question. He said, all I will say is I know where he is. So that was just yesterday. That news conference happened at noon on
apologies,
Thursday. So,
because Allison knows that in this industry the days can blur together. So let me just apologize for our viewers. That was yesterday. So now, if they knew, Allison, at this press conference yesterday, that they knew where Brian was at that time during that press conference, that was in the afternoon, and then all of a sudden now here tonight we don't know where he is. Something, of course, obviously drastically changed now, and the question now becomes, is Brian on the run?
Right. Yeah, I think that is the question. You know, and it makes you wonder, was he ever at this house at all, or has he been staying somewhere else this entire time? Because Chief Garrison yesterday would not confirm where he was. Was he in Northport? Was he in Sarasota County? Was he in Manatee County with other family? We're still not sure. So, you know, that's definitely a big question at this point in time. And it's unclear exactly what kind of information, what kind of you know, elements that officers were able to gather from this home, from the parents who, you know, called them here tonight, because they don't know where their son is, because the FBI does not know where Brian Laundrie is right now.
And as soon as we have new information to pass along here to you from a confirmed, reputable source, we'll of course do so here. But again, Pix 11 in New York confirming through Stephen Bertolino's office. That's the law firm that was brought on by the Laundrie family. Stephen Bertolino's family saying, and I'll read this from WFLA.com, the FBI is currently at the Laundrie residence. This was a short time ago. I'll read it again. The FBI is currently at the Laundrie residence removing property to assist in locating Brian. As of now, the FBI is looking for both Gabby and Brian. This doesn't bode well for investigators now, who had it as it's been difficult, of course, tracking down Gabby's whereabouts. Now they're simultaneous missing person investigations going on here, Allison. They have to track down Gabby Petito, but you know, to track down Gabby Petito, I think you start now with Brian Laundrie, and tracking down Brian Laundrie might lead us to finally knowing what happened to Gabby.
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge piece of this puzzle that was missing and is still missing, and now missing on a different level. You know, actually, Brian Laundrie is missing at this point. So, yeah, that's going to be another hurdle for law enforcement for sure. You know, they said, obviously, with the whole with Gabby being missing and with her last known location being in Wyoming, there is such a huge, vast area between Wyoming and Florida that they were already battling with. And now this element added to that. Of course, they had been calling, pleading with Brian Laundrie as well as his family to give them any information that they have to help, to be that puzzle piece to help find Gabby, or at least, get a better idea of exactly where they might be able to find her. And now, hope for that piece right now is kind of gone until they are able to locate Brian.
Allison Henning reporting for us at the house. As a reminder, the latest on WFLA.com is breaking development, the latest in the search for Gabby Petito. But now it is a dual search, a search for Gabby Petito and a search for Brian Laundrie. Let's kind of go over what everybody is saying here, Allison, in the Facebook Live comment section. And this development puts a really sinking, if you're not alone, if you feel a sinking feeling in your gut now, because Brian Laundrie missing and vanishing now and sneaking away from the attention of Northport police here in Florida does not bode well for how the Gabby Petito story is going to end. There have been people who have been commenting nonstop this sentiment. If you were innocent, then you would talk. There have been people that have been saying that. Now, Stephen Bertolino, lawyer, commented this. This is the statement from several days ago, and I want to make sure that I have this right. Many people are wondering why Mr. Laundrie would not make a statement or speak with law enforcement in the face of Ms. Petito's absence. In my experience, intimate partners are often the first person that law enforcement focuses their attention on in cases like this, and the warning that any statement made will be used against you is true, regardless of whether my client had anything to do with Ms. Petito's disappearance. As such, on the advice of counsel, Mr. Laundrie is not speaking on this matter. So that was the reason why Brian Laundrie wasn't coming forward. It was on the advice of his attorney at the time, that attorney being Stephen Bertolino in New York. And the idea was that even if Brian tried to clear his name in speaking or issuing a statement, that the public was going to twist that in a way that would make him look like he was responsible for Gabby's disappearance. But here we are now, Friday night. Brian is missing. Law enforcement searching for Brian, and this is now a case where the optics things do not look good for Brian Laundrie, and perhaps they look even worse for Gabby Petito. Yeah, what do you got, Allison?
Hey, I apologize if you mentioned this. I've been kind of, scrolling through my phone to see if there's anything going on. Of course, monitoring the scene out here as well. Did you see this tweet from Chief Todd Garrison? It came out here 15 minutes ago.
No, why don't you read it? I'll bring it up here, and why don't you read it here for us?
Yeah, sure. The tweet from Northport Police Chief Todd Garrison saying, the conversation at the Laundrie home is complete. Once we have the details, a statement will be made. We ask for calm. Please let us work through this, and information will be forthcoming. That coming from, again, Chief Todd Garrison of the Northport Police Department.
And Northport Police, Allison, this is not... Let's just put it out there. This isn't good for Northport Police. Northport Police and Chief Garrison, who said that we know where Brian is and we're keeping tabs on Brian. Basically, that was what Garrison was saying. This is now. Maybe we could. This just does not bode well for Northport Police, to say the least.
No. They've been telling us all week how frustrated they have been with this case because of its complexity, because of the distance, because of, they're a person of interest in this case, refusing to speak, refusing to cooperate, his family refusing to speak, and of course, just handing over an attorney's name and number. But yeah, now this added layer, it's going to be challenging. There's no doubt about that. The chief just yesterday at noon told us he knew where Brian Laundrie was, and now here we are tonight outside his house. It's obviously street lined with people from the community, media, and police, and no one knows where he is.
Just a shocking turn of events here. Now, I say shocking. I'm sure that there are commenters that aren't surprised by this. there have been commenters, and this is what we do here on WFLA Now. We interact with our commenters. We don't ignore our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube comment sections. We bring you into the conversation. We're going to continue to do so with some of your hashtag HeyJB comments here. But there have been people who have been saying all along here that something stinks. This doesn't feel right. That something about this is unbelievably offsetting. And why a man who says, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you, getting engaged to a 22-year-old and seemingly being in bliss on this cross-country road trip, returns without that person, without the person that you've pledged to spend the rest of your life with by getting engaged to that person. It's just, it's all led up to this point now where now we have Brian Laundrie perhaps on the run, missing here. They don't know where he is here at this hour, for those of you just joining us. Allison, I'm going to let you get going. I know that you have work to do here as far as our 11 o'clock newscast. Is that correct?
Nico Clemens is working on that right now. We were kind of holding the scene down here to make sure we didn't miss anything. So we've got our camera set up. I'm here just watching, just in case something happens. Okay, so we'll stay here with you live, Allison, and if you have to leave here and handle something there at the Laundrie household, you just kind of let us know. This is now. I think it's probably battery.
Battery. We've been talking about battery all night, and battery being a concern here. But we'll continue to monitor your shot here, Allison. Let's in the meantime, we're going to ask for some more hashtag HeyJB. Hell, give us your hashtag Hey Allison comments here in the Facebook Live comment section. Allison reporting for us here. Everybody at the scene of the household. Allison, hopefully you're doing all right. You've been working unbelievably hard all week long, and a big shout out to you and your photographers for providing the coverage that you have here for us in the Tampa Bay area. So, folks, we want to bring you into the conversation here. This is a major twist of events, major turn of events, major developments here in this story that Brian Laundrie is officially missing. The attorneys say that they don't know where he is, and really this puts the chances of Gabby Petito being found safe and sound in a really difficult position. And we're hoping that there is still a slim chance of hope that this all reaches a happy ending of some kind. But with this recent development here, things are looking particularly bleak. We want to get to your comments here in the Facebook Live comment section. Use hashtag HeyJB, hashtag Hey Allison to react to these new recent developments. We'll animate your comments here on screen. If you don't want your comment to be featured here on screen, just don't use the hashtag, and we'll let your comment scroll on by, and you can continue to converse with your fellow commenters and your fellow viewers here on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. But Allison, again here, things now have gotten real. Let's just make the biggest observation here from an audio standpoint. Things have gotten really quiet outside of that house. And I think by now, the folks that are outside and really plugged in on this story, they have to know at this stage that Brian Laundrie is missing and not in that house.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of silence. So I'm looking down the street. A lot of the people who were here, even in the last 10 minutes, have left the area. And the few people left standing, and it's very, very dark out here, but from what I can see, appear to be people from the community. I'm not sure if they live in this neighborhood or not, are kind of looking down on their phones. I imagine they might be reading something about, the whole situation, that obviously this major development in the story, Brian Laundrie now missing, the FBI not knowing his whereabouts.
We've been told, Allison, that your crew here needs to power down to conserve battery here for our 11 o'clock newscast coming your way on WFLA. Any final thoughts here from the scene?
I think obviously I've been covering this since, Tuesday, since I've been on scene. This is, I think something that nobody expected. We were all hoping that this conversation inside this house was going to be something that would be a step closer to finding Gabby. And unfortunately, JB, as you mentioned, it feels bleak. It really does. It feels like a step in the other direction in terms of finding Gabby. So, obviously we're going to keep a really close eye on it out here from the scene. Obviously staying in touch with Northport PD and see what developments we can hear from them. Obviously they will be having some sort of update for us here once they are ready for that. But in the meantime, I think they're just asking for patience as they kind of process what they're getting, into their facility right now in terms of this whole situation and Brian Laundrie, his location being unknown.
Allison Henning reporting for us. You'll catch her tonight on WFLA News Channel 8. And, of course, her latest reporting on WFLA.com and the WFLA app. Hey, Allison, thanks a whole lot. And we're back here live, everybody, with you on WFLA now. And really, the situation here is unfolding rapidly. As soon as we have another live feed, our crews now have to conserve battery here. And really, the Laundrie household is... I mean, it's worth showing you, of course, if there's any developments there at the Laundrie household, but now a search is underway for Brian Laundrie, and it goes well beyond, clearly, just this one particular block of Northport, Florida. It goes beyond Northport. It goes beyond the county here. It's really the entire Tampa Bay area, the entire state of Florida now is going to be on alert for Brian Laundrie. And if you don't know his face, it's right there. If you don't know his face by now, you haven't been online a whole lot the last several days. This is a story that I've talked to people everywhere who, even folks that I know personally that aren't usually plugged into the day-to-day news cycle, if you will, and that know about this story. So Brian Laundrie's face is everywhere. Gabby Petito's face is everywhere. People are looking for Gabby, and now they're certainly looking for Brian Laundrie here. Let's get to some of the questions here in the Facebook Live comment section and on Twitter, in the replies section on Twitter, as well as on YouTube Live to our YouTube audience. You guys are the hardest because your comments are scrolling through so fast. It's hard to spotlight your comments, but we're going to do our very best here to answer questions and continue to have a conversation here for you. But let me make this perfectly clear for our audience here joining us. We have access to a lot of feeds. If I could swivel my camera around, I would show you. We have a lot of feeds here, or at least access to a lot of feeds. If something develops, I hit 2 buttons and we're there live. So stick around here for us. The reason is now because we've now entered this very bizarre phase where everyone is fanning out as far as law enforcement to look for Brian, and it's going to be expansive. And we don't know how long the search is going to take, but at least law enforcement have a starting point here. With Gabby, you're talking about national parks. You're talking about a very vast area of the country. With Brian, he drove the van here as of 24 hours ago, or let's say 30 to 36 hours ago. Police knew where he was. So there's a starting point there. And you would imagine that with enough agencies involved, the FBI, state police, local police, really the entire world looking for Brian Laundrie, that they are going to find him. But I will say this. There have been some comments here in the Facebook Live comment section wondering about Brian Laundrie's mental state. And with the entire world knowing his name and not knowing it for a positive reason, there have been a lot of, I'll just say this, there's a lot of concern here in our social media comment section for Brian's mental state right now. And as I remind you, and most of the comments that I have seen, without putting them up here on screen here, because some of them are very strong worded, and we're going to try to keep the train on the tracks, as I call it. There are a lot of people here that want to find Brian alive because they want to find Gabby. And because Brian is the one who has the most information as to where Gabby might be. So if something happens to Brian Laundrie here, the situation could really worsen as far as the Petito family's hope of tracking down Gabby Petito. So I'll just say that there's a lot of comments here, concern for the mental well-being of Brian Laundrie here, and it's really wholly centered on finding Gabby Petito right now, because escaping and going missing doesn't help your situation. It doesn't help your situation for Brian Laundrie. This dramatically makes things worse. And we were talking about this in the comment section a short time ago. We were talking about it on several streams. Somebody asked me about the Cancun thing. We mentioned here on stream that because Brian is a person, we're getting into semantics here. Brian being a person of interest, not a suspect, and not being charged with any crime. I asked on stream here, and we had a conversation about it yesterday with our team, our entire panel here. If Brian booked a plane ticket for Cancun, could he legally leave the country and go to Cancun and go and travel internationally? The answer is yes, because he's a free man, and he's a person of interest. But at the time, because he's not being charged with any crime, and he has his passport, he's able to leave and go where he wants. He's a free person. He's not being charged with the crime. Here we are now, and Brian's location now is unknown, and we don't know where he is. That's not to say that he's traveled that far, but it again points to him being a person of interest, not being charged with any crime. He's allowed to leave. There's no rule and there's no judge giving him an order that he has to stay in this jurisdiction. He has to stay in this state. He's allowed to go wherever he wants, but now, not knowing where he went, if he wanted to travel to a family's house in Orlando, and again, we're going into hypotheticals here. If he wanted to travel to a family's house in Orlando because he felt safer there, he could do it. And it's up to police to just keep tabs on him. But Brian traveled, Brian is missing, and now police don't know where Brian is. And this is now a major development here in the story and makes things very complicated as far as tracking down Gabby Petito. Let's get to some of the comments that have come in here in just the last several minutes. I asked for your reaction using hashtag AJB. As a reminder, we usually have a panel of people here. It's Friday night here, so I'm here solo here on WFLA Now. So usually there's hashtag Hey Walt, hashtag Hey Masa, hashtag Hey Allison. A lot of folks usually contributing to these live streams. It's just me. So if you want to get my attention in our social media comment section, use hashtag HeyJB. Let's get to this comment here from Kerry. Kerry, hashtag AJB, do you think that the police will have a statement tonight? We did have that statement from Chief Garrison of Northport Police. And let me see if I can read that here for you. Here, folks. Here it is. The conversation at the Laundrie home. This is from Chief Todd Garrison, Northport Police Chief, who's in the thick of it right now. Let's just say that. Chief Garrison reporting on Twitter this following statement. The conversation at the Laundrie home is complete. Once we have the details, a statement will be made. We ask for calm. Please let us work through this, and information will be forthcoming. And then, of course, he tagged Northport Police. That's what we have. That's the statement, Kerry, that we currently have here at this time. Let's get to some more of the comments that are coming in here. Amy is joining us from the Nashville area. Hello there to you, Amy. Thanks for joining us here. Has the media had a lens on Laundrie at all since he supposedly returned to Florida? This is a great, great question, Amy, and the answer to that is no. If there was video, the way that today's news environment plays out here on all of our digital devices, if there was a clip of Brian Laundrie back here in Florida, it would be on every phone, plastered everywhere. You'd see it rotating here on the right side of your screen. So we have it confirmed that Brian Laundrie was back here in the Tampa Bay area, that he drove it back here, and then Gabby was reported missing, and then this became the story that it did. And remember, Northport Police were confident as of 36 or so hours ago, they knew exactly where Brian was. And they're not, I can't imagine that they're saying that based on tracking a cell phone or following the advice of, I'm sure that it's based on, and I would hope that they had eyes on him, but we don't know. Did police, to my knowledge, and I've been covering this story now nonstop for 5 days, did police ever say with concrete certainty that they saw Brian Laundrie at a particular location? The answer is no, but they said, we know where he is. Repeatedly, we know where Brian Laundrie is. And now he's missing. Amy, thanks for your comment here. Nicole. Hashtag KJB, was he ever at his parents' house besides when he brought the van back? We don't know. We don't know. What we have heard is that there are that there's members of the Laundrie family that live in Florida that we had heard that there was a chance that Brian was not staying at the house for his own safety, that he was staying at a family member's house. That is something that, of course, I believe that, of course, law enforcement knew that. That they know the Laundrie family at this point like the back of their hand, as far as knowing all of the particular places that Brian could be, or at least that was the case several days ago. But was he ever at his parents' house besides when he brought the van back? We don't know. By the time that this was on our radar, Brian Laundrie eluded the cameras that are in everyone's pockets, the news cameras that are stationed outside of his house. So was he ever there? We don't know. Well, besides when he brought the van back, we don't know. But the van was there. The van was there, and it was there until police took it. Dana Shepard. Oh, and we're going to throw up Dana's comment here. And Diana's next. Hashtag HJB, how in the world do you lose the only person that has any information on this poor missing girl? I don't know. This is a big question now. And to Diana's comment here, hashtag HJB, how did they not have multiple feds following his every move? This isn't good, folks. It's not good. And these questions now, we talk about Florida's finest. We talk about how dedicated members of law enforcement are. But let this be a reminder here, folks. I have close friends that are in law enforcement. Everyone makes mistakes. This is clearly a major mistake by law enforcement. Just there's no way to sugarcoat it, and I think that if you had a law enforcement officer with Northport Police right now on, they would say, yeah, this isn't a bright light on law. This has been a very complicated case from the beginning, but with the entire world knowing about this story, with multiple agencies involved. How did Brian Laundrie get away and slip out of the hands of investigators? Now, let's also keep in mind here that at any moment, law enforcement could say, "Hey, found him. He's here. He's there." And they could be at the scene of a Laundrie family house, or a friend's house. Maybe Laundrie has a friend here in the area that he's staying with, and they're combing through all those leads right now. This is a lot of folks here are being extremely critical of law enforcement here, but everyone makes mistakes. This is clearly a black eye on this story here as far as the law enforcement and how they've been handling it. There have been people that have been very critical of our legal system here in this country over the last several days because of the fact that they couldn't bring in Brian for questioning and they couldn't charge him with a crime. I had just to go over kind of how emotionally invested people are in this story. I don't think that people fully understand some of the stuff that gets thrown our way here in the social media comment section. I had one woman a couple of days ago demanding that Congress rewrite the U.S. Constitution so that Brian can't invoke his constitutional right to remain silent. Rewrite the U.S. Constitution to find Gabby. That was what a woman said. I would put the comment on screen, but I can't because it didn't have a hashtag. But that's how emotionally invested people are in this story. And they feel, and I know that a lot of you in the comment section, I'm reading those comments right now, a lot of you feel that this is a very bad day for law enforcement, and it's a very bad day for our legal system, because these two clearly go on a road trip together. One comes home, one doesn't. Writing's on the wall. So it's and you'll have to forgive me, folks. This has been several days now of reading through thousands of your comments. It's part of my job here at WFLA and on WFLA Now is to read through your comments and bring you into the conversation here. So Diana's comment here as well. This is a comment that a lot of you are asking. No service in Yosemite takes on completely new meaning. No service in Yosemite was the last text message sent from Gabby's phone to Gabby's mother. And Gabby's mother said, this isn't right. Something doesn't add up. This doesn't feel like Gabby. Now here we are, and everything is possible. Anything is possible at this point. But really, let me just echo this one statement here before we continue reading comments here. Prayers still for Gabby being found alive. I know that this recent development doesn't bode well for that outcome, but still sending prayers here. We're all human. Us reporters here, we're human, and hoping that Brian is able to provide information once he's tracked down, to provide information to find this 22-year-old girl safe. I know that there are a lot of people out there who are skeptics quite frankly, you can't blame anybody who's a skeptic right now that you know, as far as Gabby Petito. But just, I'm going to try. And I know that people out there hopefully are nodding their head in agreement, just trying to maintain even a shred of hope that Gabby is found alive here. Diana, thanks a lot for your comment here. Let's get to Bry Wheatley. Hey there, Bry. Hashtag HJB. If the family requested law enforcement / the FBI, I'm wondering if the family is worried that he was there and then left without anyone knowing. Now they are reporting him missing. So let's go over the situation here. And this is from Northport Police on Twitter. They said that the Laundrie family earlier today, requested law enforcement at their home. The major 180 from where we were even just earlier today and this afternoon. The Laundrie family wanted Gabby, the Laundrie family wanted law enforcement to come to their home, and now we know why. Brian's missing. Now, it's a parent's instincts to protect their child. So there's two scenarios here, and there's only two scenarios here. Let's focus on Brian Laundrie's parents here for a second. There's only two scenarios. They know where Brian is, or they don't know where Brian is. Now, I've had some comments here in previous days saying that, you know, parents who have been commenting at me saying, I would do anything to protect my child. I think a lot of parents who are joining us here on the stream would echo that. I would do anything to protect my child. So, again, two scenarios here. Brian Laundrie's parents know where Brian is, or they don't. They know where Brian is, and they don't want to reveal it because they're trying to protect their child, or they don't know, and they're extremely worried about what happens next. I think really in either outcome, they're extremely worried about what happens next. But you understand what I'm getting at here. Laundrie's parents now are completely enveloped in this story. They were already, but this is now directly with them, as far as them being here. And you would hope that it's the latter. You would hope that what they were doing when they hired the attorney, when they hired Stephen Bertolino from New York to represent Brian, or when they brought in, whether they hired him or not, it was pro bono, when they brought in Stephen Bertolino to represent Brian, that they were doing it with Brian's best interests in mind. We've had every attorney on here, and every attorney has said on our air, on WFLA, that this is what you do. You protect your client. You invoke the Constitution is there for a reason. It protects you, and invoking, you can't be mad at the attorney for invoking a constitutional right. That's the right that all of us share. You're no different than Brian in this one respect, in that you have the same rights that he does as an American citizen. So you can't be mad at the attorney for representing him and giving him the best legal advice and the best legal counsel possible. But here we are now, and Brian is missing. And so the parents that brought on this attorney, the attorney who made this decision to, of course, and the attorney making the decision, I'm sure, with his client in mind, making the decision to invoke their constitutional right to not speak, the attorney is doing, what he must. But now the parents' involvement now is directly part of this story, directly part of it. And we don't know whether Brian's disappearance is something that the parents knew about or didn't know about. And that's going to be a matter of speculation, and already is here. I see the comments coming in here. People speculating that, did the parents know that Brian was going to go off the grid? Because he's off the grid. Do you know how hard it is to go off the grid? Can we talk about that for 1 second? Do you know how hard it is to escape authorities when they know where you are? When you have the Federal Bureau of Investigation on you, you have multiple agencies, the feds, you have your local police on top of you, and they know exactly where you are. And in today's day and age where we have a million ways to track somebody's whereabouts, how difficult it is to elude them. There's more to this. It's not just to disappear out of thin air and like a magician on stage with a poof of smoke. Just that, it's not that easy. So Brian disappearing here, did Brian disappear alone? How Brian managed to vanish off the grid and elude authorities, was that done? Was that done with help? Did somebody help Brian elude authorities? These are questions now that have to be asked. Aiding and abetting. Accomplices, these all now become, this all is now part of the subject matter with this case. And clearly I'm emotionally invested in this story because my wife knows where I am at every moment of every day. Sure, everybody here on stream knows somebody who knows exactly where a loved one is at every particular moment. A mother knows where their child is. A father knows where their child is. Usually, parents keep tabs on their kids. I know where my wife is right now. My wife knows where I am right now. They know where everyone's location is. To just vanish when the whole world is looking out for you and wanting to know where Gabby is, to just vanish. How does that happen? That, I think, sums up some of the frustration that's coming through from some of our commenters there, some of the comments that I've read. How does somebody with their face all over, not even just the news, all over, there he is, again, all over TikTok, all over Reddit, all over Facebook, all over Instagram, all over every news website, all over Twitter, all over every electronic device in the country. How does this man just poof, disappear? Only the FBI and Northport Police can answer that question. Garrett Sloan, #HeyJB, why didn't they bring him in for questioning? That's definitely different from arresting someone. You can, these are questions now. Can you legally bring in Brian for questioning? As I understand it, you can't without charging him with a crime. You can request him to come into, just as I understand it, the way that the law works here in Florida is you charge somebody with a crime, you can bring them in, clearly, because you're arresting them. But somebody has to volunteer to go to the police office or the police station to offer a statement. And if they want to invoke their constitutional right to not speak, they can absolutely do so and remain in the cozy comfort of their own home, wherever that was for Brian Laundrie, whatever home he was in. He wasn't in this house tonight. I want to make this clear again. There's a lot of comments coming in here about Brian Laundrie's mental state. If Brian Laundrie is responsible for Gabby's disappearance or something tragic and sinister that happened to Gabby Petito, and that's your fiancé, whether it was intentional or unintentional, whether it was an accident on the roadway or whether he planned to do something premeditated, in that scenario here, guilt on the conscience and the entire world knowing his name and her name, you have to wonder what his mental state is like. And there are going to be people that are going to discard that. Oh, his mental state. What about Gabby? What about Gabby? Well, that's exactly the point that I'm getting at. Is that, and really our commenters are getting at because I'm reading them here. He is the key to unlocking Gabby's whereabouts. So his mental state is crucial right now. Brian is at the center of all this. And if you don't find Brian, maybe you don't find Gabby. So his mental state right now is key. And it's see here again, Donna Chang here just a moment ago in our Facebook Live comment section, #AJB. Then that law needs to change. He was the last person to see her. He's a person of interest. If they can't speak to him, then that needs to change. Does the law need to change? We've had laws created based on terrible stories. You all know what an Amber Alert is. This is one of those stories where could something have been done sooner? Just like with Amber Alerts, right? Could something have been done sooner? Does the law need to change? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section here. Now, there are going to be people who are going to see that as egregious, changing the law. But can we be better? Can we be better as a society, as a country, to enable us to have the tools to bring stories to more happy endings and fewer tragic, horrific, terrible endings that leave families demolished for decades? Can you imagine the Petito family? How do they go forward from this? People move on, I suppose. But the Petito family, this will define them, or at least I can only hope it doesn't. But as far as everyone knows Gabby's name, everyone knows this story. The family has been in front of the cameras, pleading with the public for help, and this is a story now that has demolished the Petito family, and we'll find out more about the Laundrie family's perspective here. Their family, of course, clearly the entire Laundrie family is suffering. But we'll be able to shed more light on their perspective here when we know more of the facts. But really, the Petito family here is the one that has just been begging for anything. Point to a spot on a map. Tell us where to look. Is what the statement said yesterday. Give us an idea. Just give us latitude, longitude. Give us an idea as to where to search for our daughter. Was their statement, in essence. And so, your hearts go out to the Petito family. Oh, okay. Well, Herbert. #AJB. Brian isn't truly eluding the police if he's not being charged with a crime, correct? Yeah, I'm sure he went to the local IHOP for a meal. Herbert, I understand what you're trying to say. I get it. He's not eluding police if he's not being charged with a crime. But to vanish in these circumstances, we'll just kind of read between the lines here with semantics. You don't just vanish from a situation like this to where your attorney doesn't know where you are and your parents claim to not know where you are. Well, I understand what you're saying. We have a responsibility here to call a spade. I get it. But at the same time here, Brian going missing is uncharted territory for a story like this. Let's see here. Amber Smith. #KJB. I think it is. It's trying to load. Come on, Amber. There it is. Amber Smith. #KJB. I think it's really selfish of Brian to do this, knowing that the light will now shift to him instead of what's most important, finding Gabby. Yeah. So I agree with this comment and I disagree with this comment. Because, there's a lot we can break down this comment, actually, now that I think about it. Finding the argument that this takes away from finding Gabby. Well, of course, yes and no, because folks are still looking for Gabby in Utah and Wyoming, and now law enforcement here have a search of their own. The law enforcement here in Florida haven't been looking for Gabby. Or I'm sure that, I'm sure that keeping an eye out, but has there been an active grid search for Gabby Petito here in Florida? Absolutely not. So, but what I'm getting at here, Amber, is that we might be closer. As crazy as it sounds, there is a scenario that is at play here where we are closer to finding Gabby now. Because if law enforcement does their job, and I am confident. I am confident in law enforcement to do their job. They're going to track down Brian. And now the question is, what can you do about it? What can you do? We have an update here, folks, back in about 60 seconds here on WFLA Now, back here in 60 seconds. We might be getting an update here on something in our newsroom, and I don't have a live feed to go to here, so, folks, we'll just be back here in just a moment. Well, this has been an interesting night. Northport police are on the phone, and they want to talk to me. Let's see what happens. Everybody? Northport police are on the line, and we'll have them here momentarily. As we understand it, they want to talk to us here and provide us with an update, because there's a lot of folks out there that are very frustrated with law enforcement. I've been echoing some of those feelings here myself. That's totally what I do here on WFLA Now, is as far as being a reflection of what our commenters are saying and trying to paint a picture as to what you're saying on social media here. So we're about to bring in Northport police here in a moment. As I understand it, they're either calling in now or they're already on the line and they're being transferred this way. But we'll be back here in just a moment, everybody, with a breaking update. Northport police speaking to us here on WFLA Now. Don't go anywhere. The interview coming up next. Folks, again, awaiting Northport police coming in here. Stand by. Hey there, folks. JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. We have Northport Police spokesperson Josh Taylor on the line here. We're going to be getting to him coming up here in about 60 seconds on WFLA Now. We're beginning a new stream here to engage a new digital audience here because we want as many people here to be able to hear what Northport Police have to say here regarding Brian Laundrie's disappearance. So that's coming up here next, everybody, on WFLA Now. Don't go anywhere.
WFLA Now will begin momentarily. WFLA Now will begin momentarily. Breaking news on WFLA Now. Here's JB Buno.
A major turn of events in the search for Gabby Petito, as Gabby Petito's fiancé and the person of interest in her disappearance, Brian Laundrie, is missing, according to a report from, of course, our sister station Pix 11 in New York, as confirmed by WFLA.com through the attorney of Brian Laundrie. Joining us here on the phone here, folks, is Northport Police spokesperson Josh Taylor. You've been seeing Josh on many press conferences. It's been a long week, of course, for the Northport Police Department. Josh, first and foremost, let's just get to the latest here. Can you confirm at this time that you do not know where Brian Laundrie is located?
That is accurate.
And at this stage, Josh, can you paint a picture as to exactly what happened here and when you lost track of where Brian Laundrie was located?
Sure. So the information that we were given is that Brian was in the home there on the street. Brian is not wanted for a crime. We do not track residents. We wouldn't put, any type of device on him or anything like that. He can go to the store. He can go wherever he'd like. We have been trying to contact his family and him for the last 6 days as this nation has waited for an answer for where Gabby's at. His family attorney contacted us this evening saying that the family wanted to speak with us for the first time and wanted to tell us that they are concerned that they have not seen Brian. We arrived to a media circuit out in front of that home, and we are conducting that investigation into the credibility on where Brian is and what his family is telling us. Now, that's what we know. And we've been listening to media outlets, and there seems to be some sort of insinuation that we were not truthful about anything in this case. And I don't even have to ask about what it is, because I can tell you that that is not the case. This is not a black eye to the Northport Police Department. The men and women of this police department have been busting their ass to find an answer. Anyone who would say different doesn't know what the hell is going on.
We understand that this is a complicated case, Josh. And again, for those of you just joining us, I'm the comments that we're talking about earlier. And Josh, I just want this to be known here. This is a part of my job here is to explain how people are feeling out there based on some of the comments that are coming through on social media. And tonight there have been some people that have been extremely critical of the Northport Police Department and of the FBI, really of law enforcement here in Florida. I really, first and foremost, I appreciate you joining me here to kind of just explain with where we are. And again, a lot of comments out there that are very, very critical of how everyone in the world has...
You might be surprised that Facebook comments don't really do a whole lot for the facts in just about any situation in life.
But Josh, it's not just the Facebook comments. You had people out here outside of the home screaming at law enforcement all night. So this is not just one of those stories that's just on people pounding keyboards.
Look, I get it. I know that people are passionate, but I don't know who the hell goes out to a house to scream at a family when we're in the middle of an investigation that could result in the death of a little girl. So I got some questions about them as well. But at the end, the focus in this case is about finding Gabby. I can tell you that we're doing everything that we can. Anybody who knows where she's at, and now anybody who knows where Brian's at, please give us a call, 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's the focus. Focus isn't on what were we doing for Brian. We'll deal with Brian. We will deal with him. We have to find Gabby.
I want to ask this question on behalf of our WFLA News Channel 8 team here, Josh. Did the family call Northport Police and say that they haven't seen Brian since Tuesday? And if so, what time frame on Tuesday? When is the last time the parents saw Brian based on what we know here tonight?
Well, you're right, and I appreciate that question. I don't know that we're going to be breaking that news right here. The detectives have been back, the police department from that location for 45 minutes. We're going to get together. We're going to figure out the details. We'll work every ounce of it. There is no stone left unturned in this case, and we'll have that information. We believe me, we are as transparent of a law enforcement agency that there is on this planet. And as soon as we can get something out that we think will help find answers in this case, there's obviously things that we know about that we're not just running right out to whoever to explain and give some of those details out. We have to hold back some of that information, but we try to get it out as quickly as we can, as accurately as we can, in order to help. The final goal here is to find Abby, and if we need to make somebody pay for what they've done, we'll do that too.
Josh, it was 5 minutes before you called in here. And again, Josh Taylor, everybody with the Northport Police Department, joining us here on WFLA Now to address all the folks that are joining us here regarding Brian Laundrie's disappearance. I was saying here that I have high confidence in law enforcement here in Florida. I have high confidence from federal, state, local authorities that you're going to track down Brian, that you're going to do everything at your disposal and use every tool and means necessary that you can to track down Brian Laundrie. But my question is, when you do track down Brian Laundrie, what next? What legally is the next step? Because does anything change if you can track down Brian now? At where we were last, he was a person of interest. You could not arrest him or charge him with any crime. So if later on tonight, if you were able to, with 100% certainty, track down where Brian is tonight, what can you do from that point forward?
If we track Brian home, his parents have reported him missing. If we find Brian this evening and pick him up, we're going to drop him back off at his parents' house. We'll attempt to talk to him about this case. He has the Fifth Amendment right. The Constitution, we don't rewrite it here in Northport. So we'll go through that, and we will make it an opportunity again for him to talk. We'll find, at the end of the day, we're going to find the answers in this case. We're going to find Gabby, and we're going to find whoever hurt him.
Josh, again, I want to just kind of speak to again some of the commentary that is out there, and again, part of my job here, I want to make this clear for all of our audience.
In all due respect, we love our community and we appreciate their input. But right now, unless they have a tip to help us find Gabby, I don't care their opinion on this issue. We are trying to get you have some info or don't. All right, and look, I appreciate you putting me on.
And I just want to let you know again, because this is a story that has grabbed the attention of countless people across the country, that again, it's about giving voice to those people that are clearly frustrated with where we are, and that Brian hasn't given his side of the story, and now we don't even know where Brian is. So I just want to again point this out, that it's my job here to give voice to those who are watching here now. It's what I do here as far as representing them. And I know that your job is, of course, to solve crime and to find Gabby Petito and to bring this to a resolution here. But what do you say for all the commenters here that want there to be progress here in this case? I understand that this is one of the most complicated cases. One of the most complicated cases that I've covered, and I'm sure it's been complicated for your office here. But what do you say to all those people out there that are just wanting Gabby to be found and want there to be a resolution to this story that we can all get behind?
Well, if it's any solace, we have every tool known to man in law enforcement at our disposal. We're working with the FBI, multiple locations, and we'll get answers. It's obviously very complicated. We have a huge potential for possibilities in this case. And we want to make sure we get it right, because we need to find Gabby, or if something happened to her, we need to make sure that whoever did it pays for it. So sometimes that slows the process. Not a bunch of cowboys, not going to go up in there and start breaking the Constitution and doing all sorts of things. We have to make sure that all of this holds up in court as well. So I appreciate you putting me on. I've got to run. I've got a billion other news outlets that are trying to reach me. We've given time to you. We really appreciate you. But again, one thing that I just want to leave you with.
Just one question. I'm sorry, Josh, continue. Yeah, there was just one follow-up question that's really important that I just wanted to ask, but please continue.
No, I was just going to say that, we are a truthful, honest police department, and that's the bottom line. I'll answer your last question, please.
I understand, and you being on call here with us when we have a lot of commentary, of course, online that is extraordinarily critical. It speaks to the character of your police department, and it means a lot that you're calling in. And I just, again, professionally and personally, I'm just passing that along here to you. My final question here for you: Are Brian Laundrie's parents cooperating fully with where you are in this investigation?
I think right now at the moment, what I'm comfortable with saying is they're cooperating now in the search for their son. So we will do that. He is a resident of Northport, and they are residents of Northport, and we will do our job, and we'll see where that takes us. Thank you.
I think I speak, Josh, for all of us here at WFLA and all of our commenters, wishing you the very best and good luck as you continue making progress here in this investigation. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you for getting the word out. Bye-bye.
All right. Josh Taylor, everybody with Northport Police. We appreciate having Josh on here and calling in here, everybody. So Josh, let's just talk about this. Josh was referencing some of the comments that I made earlier. He brought up the comment of this being, a black eye for the Northport Police Department. And again, part of my job here, and I want to make this perfectly clear for our audience here, is to give voice to those of you who are commenting here. We've had a staggering volume of commentary here tonight. And in this latest development here, we've had, of course, commentary that has been very critical towards law enforcement. And while this isn't necessarily the development that shines a positive light on law enforcement here, Josh brings up some excellent points here as far as of right now, he's not being charged with a crime. It's within his legal rights to move from place to place. It is. And we talked earlier on stream that Brian Laundrie, if he wanted to, he could book a flight right now and go somewhere. He could. It's his legal right to. So this is something that that Brian Laundrie being missing, looking from the outside in, it certainly doesn't bode well for this case. But at the same time, Josh brings up an excellent point here. And again, a big thank you to Josh for wanting to be part of this conversation here and being part of the commentary that's going on here, because that's how we actually get a better understanding as to news stories and how they develop and as far as the questions that we can ask and the answers that we can receive. Josh coming on here allows us to, even though the commentary has been critical, and I shoulder responsibility as far as relaying some of that critical commentary here on stream on behalf of you, our viewers at home. Josh is pleading for anything and everything to get Gabby returned home safely. And we are all behind that. And if Josh has seen any of our previous streams here, every stream has been done with the intention of sharing out this story to increase exposure and increase the chance that Gabby is found safe and sound. We're not at that conclusion right now. But Northport Police are part of the solution, not the problem. And make no mistake about it. And Josh Taylor coming on here to speak with us is indication that he wants to be part of the solution and a solution that we can all get behind. So again, a big thank you to Josh Taylor for calling in here and wanting to defend the Northport Department here from some of the commentary that has been out there. Again, when I put that into perspective here, as far as summing up some of the comments that were coming in here, that was what people were commenting. As far as we had some very, I only put up on screen here comments like this one here. And I'll bring up this comment here, like from Diana. I only bring up the comments that are appropriate. Do you know how many comments we get that are inappropriate, that are really nasty and vulgar? And it's social media. It's not a surprise. People are going to be nasty in the comment section and pound words into their keyboard that otherwise they wouldn't say in real life. But it's my job here to try to sum up those comments and portray them in a way that is air appropriate and that is accurate and faithful to our commenters and what some of them are saying. Most of the time, when we're talking about a particular issue, there's two sides, and I try to sum up the argument for both of those sides. And when we do that here, sometimes we can throw comments up here on screen that sum up the comments and do my job for me, and other times it's difficult because of all the F words, S words, B words, and all the nasty words that we can't throw up here on screen. So there have been some, I apologize for this being the fact, but the fact of the matter is that there is some very, very negative commentary towards law enforcement tonight. But I want to make clear what I was saying before Josh called in. I have a high level of confidence in Florida's finest. This is going to end with them tracking down Brian. I'm confident in that, and they're going to do everything that they can to bring this to a resolution. I said that on stream before Josh called. I'll say it again. I have high confidence in the Northport Police Department. I have high confidence in the FBI, and I have high confidence for the hard-working men and women of law enforcement here in the state of Florida and across the country. The commentary tonight towards law enforcement has been a bit negative that we have seen here in the comment section, but I have faith, and I think that everyone here should too, because Gabby's been missing for many, many weeks. Brian's been missing for much less. So let's hope that Brian Laundrie can be tracked down and he can provide us with some clues, even though legally here we don't know where this goes now, but if they do track him down. But let's hope that Brian Laundrie can be tracked and eventually brought to speak and reveal what he knows, about Gabby Petito's disappearance. I know that we're live for a lot of folks here on WFLA Now, on WFLA.com, on WFLA's app, on all of our social media accounts here. We are going to be stepping away. We've been live here almost 3.5 hours without a water break. It's been a very, very long night. I'd like to continue. You know what, folks? What we'll try to do is we'll try to come back. Maybe I'll take a little bit of a break here. We will try to continue to answer questions here and in a little while. But we're going to take a little bit of a brief break here on WFLA Now. We're going to play some of the clips from our earlier streams here for our audience, and we'll try to come back here live at some point to answer questions here in the Facebook Live comment section. More ahead here coming up here live on WFLA Now, folks. Thanks so much for being with us here live. A major turn of events in the search for Gabby Petito, as Gabby Petito's fiancé and the person of interest in her disappearance, Brian Laundrie, is missing, according to a report from, of course, our sister station Pix 11 in New York, as confirmed by WFLA.com through the attorney of Brian Laundrie. Joining us here on the phone here, folks, is Northport Police spokesperson Josh Taylor. You've been seeing Josh on many press conferences. It's been a long week, of course, for the Northport Police Department. Josh, first and foremost, let's just get to the latest here. Can you confirm at this time that you do not know where Brian Laundrie is located?
That is accurate.
And at this stage, Josh, can you paint a picture as to exactly what happened here and when you lost track of where Brian Laundrie was located?
Sure. So the information that we were given is that Brian was in the home there on the street. Brian is not wanted for a crime. We do not track residents. We wouldn't put, any type of device on him or anything like that. He can go to the store. He can go wherever he'd like. We have been trying to contact his family and him for the last 6 days, as this nation has waited for an answer for where Gabby's at. His family attorney contacted us this evening, saying that the family wanted to speak with us for the first time and wanted to tell us that they are concerned that they have not seen Brian. We arrived to a media circuit out in front of that home, and we are conducting that investigation into the credibility on where Brian is and what his family is telling us. Now, that's what we know. And we've been listening to media outlets, and there seems to be some sort of insinuation that we were not truthful about anything in this case. And I don't even have to ask about what it is, because I can tell you that that is not the case. This is not a black eye to the Northport Police Department. The men and women of this police department have been busting their ass to find an answer. Anyone who would say different doesn't know what the hell is going on.
We understand that this is a complicated case, Josh. And again, for those of you just joining us, the comments that we're talking about earlier, and Josh, I just want this to be known here. This is a part of my job here is to explain how people are feeling out there based on some of the comments that are coming through on social media. And tonight there have been some people that have been extremely critical of the Northport Police Department and of the FBI, really of law enforcement here in Florida. I really, first and foremost, I appreciate you joining me here to kind of just explain with where we are. And again, a lot of comments out there that are very, very critical of how everyone in the world has...
You might be surprised that Facebook comments don't really do a whole lot for the facts in just about any situation in life.
But Josh, it's not just the Facebook comments. You had people out here outside of the home screaming at law enforcement all night. So this is not just one of those stories that's just on people pounding keyboards.
Look, I get it. I know that people are passionate, but I don't know who the hell goes out to a house to scream at a family when we're in the middle of an investigation that could result in the death of a little girl. So I got some questions about them as well. But at the end, the focus in this case is about finding Gabby. I can tell you that we're doing everything that we can. Anybody who knows where she's at, and now anybody who knows where Brian's at, please give us a call, 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's the focus. Focus isn't on, well, what were we doing for Brian. We'll deal with Brian. We will deal with him. We have to find Gabby.
I want to ask this question on behalf of our WFLA News Channel 8 team here, Josh. Did the family call Northport Police and say that they haven't seen Brian since Tuesday? And if so, what time frame on Tuesday? When is the last time the parents saw Brian based on what we know here tonight?
Well, you're right, and I appreciate that question. I don't know they're going to be breaking that news right here. The detectives have been back, at the police department from that location for 45 minutes. We're going to get together. We're going to figure out the details. We'll work every ounce of it. There is no stone left unturned in this case, and we'll have that information. We believe me, we are as transparent a law enforcement agency that there is on this planet. And as soon as we can get something out that we think will help find answers in this case, there's obviously things that we know about that we're not just running right out to whoever to explain and give some of those details out. We have to hold back some of that information, but we try to get it out as quickly as we can, as accurately as we can, in order to help. The final goal here is to find Abby, and if we need to make somebody pay for what they've done, we'll do that too.
Josh, it was 5 minutes before you called in here, and again, Josh Taylor, everybody with the Northport Police Department, joining us here on WFLA Now to address all the folks that are joining us here regarding Brian Laundrie's disappearance. I was saying here that I have high confidence in law enforcement here in Florida. I have high confidence from federal, state, local authorities that you're going to track down Brian, that you're going to do everything at your disposal and use every tool and means necessary that you can to track down Brian Laundrie. But my question is, when you do track down Brian Laundrie, what next? What legally is the next step? Because does anything change if you can track down Brian now? At where we were last, he was a person of interest. You could not arrest him or charge him with any crime. So if later on tonight, if you were able to, with 100% certainty, track down where Brian is tonight, what can you do from that point forward?
If we track Brian home, his parents have reported him missing. If we find Brian this evening and pick him up, we're going to drop him back off at his parents' house. We'll attempt to talk to him about this case. He has the Fifth Amendment right. The Constitution, we don't rewrite it here in Northport. So we'll go through that, and we will make it an opportunity again for him to talk. We'll find, at the end of the day, we're going to find the answers in this case. We're going to find Gabby, and we're going to find whoever hurt her.
Josh, again, I want to just kind of speak to again some of the commentary that is out there, and again, part of my job here, I want to make this clear for all of our audience.
In all due respect, we love our community and we appreciate their input. But right now, unless they have a tip to help us find Gabby, I don't care their opinion on this issue. We are trying to get you. You have some info or don't. Right? And look, I appreciate you putting me on.
Yeah, and I just want to let you know again, because this is a story that has grabbed the attention of countless people across the country, that again, it's about giving voice to those people that are clearly frustrated with where we are, and that Brian hasn't given his side of the story, and now we don't even know where Brian is. So I just want to again point this out, that it's my job here to give voice to those who are watching here now. It's what I do here as far as representing them. And I know that your job is, of course, to solve crime and to find Gabby Petito and to bring this to a resolution here. But what do you say for all the commenters here that want there to be progress here in this case? I understand that this is one of the most complicated cases, that I've covered, and I'm sure it's been complicated for your office here. But what do you say to all those people out there that are just wanting Gabby to be found and want there to be a resolution to this story that we can all get behind?
Well, if it's any solace, we have every tool known to man in law enforcement at our disposal. We're working with the FBI, multiple locations, and we'll get answers. It's obviously very complicated. We have a huge potential for possibilities in this case. And we want to make sure we get it right, because we need to find Gabby, or if something happened to her, we need to make sure that whoever did it pays for it. So sometimes that slows the process. Not a bunch of cowboys, not going to go up in there and start breaking the Constitution and doing all sorts of things. We have to make sure that all of this holds up in court as well. So I appreciate you putting me on. I've got to run. I've got a billion other news outlets that are trying to reach me. We've given time to you. We really appreciate you. But again, one thing that I just want to leave you with.
Just one question. Yeah, I'm sorry, Josh. Continue. Yeah, there was just one follow-up question that's really important that I just wanted to ask, but please continue.
No, I was just going to say that we are a truthful, honest police department, and that's the bottom line. I'll answer your last question, please.
I understand, and you being on call here with us when we have a lot of commentary, of course, online that is extraordinarily critical. It speaks to the character of your police department, and it means a lot that you're calling in. And I just, again, professionally and personally, I'm just passing that along here to you. My final question here for you: are Brian Laundrie's parents cooperating fully with where you are in this investigation?
I think right now at the moment, what I'm comfortable with saying is they're cooperating now in the search for their son. So we will do that. He is a resident of Northport, and they are residents of Northport, and we will do our job, and we'll see where that takes us. Thank you.
I think I speak, Josh, for all of us here at WFLA and all of our commenters, wishing you the very best and good luck as you continue making progress here in this investigation, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for getting the word out. Bye-bye.
All right. Josh Taylor, everybody with Northport Police. We appreciate having Josh on here and calling in here, everybody.